Turn the whole screen around. All right, we should be going live any moment now. How much time do we got? So Action Network.
Dude, the under is -123 on Pinnacle. Under 32, and it even moved a point.
Yeah, I like. How can I take that and how can I not take it at the same time?
How can you not take over at that plus money?
Oh.
You get 33 points. I don't know. How can you even bet it? There's a better question.
Yeah, I think that's the right answer. You might have to send me the link because I don't know if it's working for me.
We want Discord or WhatsApp, or I'll do Discord.
Discord is good.
Charles Woodson.
67% of the money is on the over for this game, by the way.
Yeah, well, that should. I don't even know. I don't even know what that means.
In the spirit of betting, I'm gonna take the under. No,
32.
It's the under's 32 at -126.
120. It moved again.
Yeah, that's.
It's just much. three peasies, but -120, -126. It's still like, yeah, can't do it.
No,
dude, everyone's looking skinny except for me. Okay, never mind. I just saw Terry Bradshaw.
All right, there we go. Now I'm up.
Why isn't Jimmy Johnson wearing his gold jacket?
That's a good question.
He has one. Everyone else is wearing. Oh, maybe they didn't want to make Kurt Menefee feel like a loser.
That could be it. Actually, let's do it that way. Some technical difficulties, as always. It's not like we prep for these.
No.
All right. So what's going on, guys? I gotta figure out what I want to have up on the screen here.
Is it we're live?
Well, it has already been a...
Oh, we're live.
And you said a bad word right off the get-go.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Perfect. What's going on, Marcus Springfield? He said, evening, fellas. Another year of football is upon us. Hell yeah, brother.
Yikes, man, with the curse words. Starting off the season horribly.
Oh, is that Edrin James?
There's no way. Edgar and James isn't in the... Hall of Fame. Is he?
I'm pretty sure that was
Nothing
him.
nothing wrong with Edgar and James. I was just surprised.
Cower.
Yeah.
Who's that older guy? Is that Howard Cosell?
No, it's Tom Flores. That's why I wore my Raiders hat today. Get with it.
Oh, there's Woodson.
So unprepared.
What's going on, Josh Allen? Football is back. Hell yeah.
One day we'll find out Josh Allen's real name. I don't want it yet, but maybe by season's end. Ooh, Aikman wearing the jacket.
Didn't Buck get a jacket? I remember him like
A smoking jacket for boozing. That's it.
No, I'm pretty sure Buck's in the Hall of Fame. I think he got
That's it.
inducted.
Come on now.
You remember that though? It was like they did like a halftime thing for him.
This sounds completely made up.
I'm pretty sure it happened last year on like a stream, if I had to guess. Joe Buck to become newest member of Pro Football Hall of Fame, September 17th, 2020.
Okay, this is really funny. I have a new search engine. I switched. How? Oh my God! I paid for all these shirts. I sent them. Which one's Matt?
This is the second one. This is it's a disaster.
I've resent 2 already. I don't know what else to do here.
We're gonna have to shut down the channel pretty soon. We're gonna go broke sending out all these T-shirts.
Dude, I can't even afford it anymore. All right, Mad Capper, email me again. I already had to send another one. This is the last resend I'm doing though for anybody. We're going cryptocurrency this year. Yeah, there you go.
So this is the fun time of the season where we get to pull up.
You got
our
one, but
lads.
not the other one. Oh, okay.
That's like it's almost difficult to do it that. Like it makes
Yeah.
sense if neither show up or both, but one does and the other doesn't. That's just.
You have a cryptocurrency wallet, Mad Capper. It would just be easier for me. I'd happily set you some Bitcoin. Email me the address. You get a little bit of Bitcoin. No? Ah, shoot. I tried. Okay, all right. This is the funny thing that happened. So I look up. I switched. I can't even say this. I switched search engines from Google Chrome to Brave.
Yeah.
And so I wrote in Joe Buck gold jacket, and then I went to images, and they show the jacket from Midnight Cowboy, which is about a male gigolo, and I think the character might be named Joe Buck, the main character in it. I don't know. I just find that very funny how that would connect. John Voight's character.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, his name is Joe Buck in it. I haven't seen that movie in like 15 years.
So for anybody just joining the stream now, I was going to be betting the under in this game, but the under closed at 32. It actually went down at least a point, and the juice on the under was minus 126, which is just disgusting. That's crazy. I wonder if you can bet this game live. You can. How crazy is it that you can bet the Hall of Fame game live?
I might force your hand if I get an inkling, Big Rye.
Well, look at this. The live bet under 32.5 minus 111. You tell me how that makes sense.
Oh, you might as well take it then, bro.
I'm taking it right now. I don't know how this is even. I got it. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get this. This is I want to say an oversight.
It's an undersight. You get it? Mad Capper, you got hired as a tout? Please elaborate.
Yeah, let us know. What's that all about? How did that get form.
Where, when, how? What exactly happened?
I just saw a brief highlight for a Pacquiao fight.
Yeah.
He's fighting again.
Why wouldn't they? You're gonna get. Yeah, who hired you, Madcapper? I want to know the process. That's the interesting part.
I think that's a fair assessment, Josh, that the Cowboys are undervalued at +6.5 week 1 at Tampa Bay.
Well, my general consensus is Super Bowl teams are usually overrated, right? I mean, especially when they keep the team in line, because that's a very big talking point. Oh, the whole team's back. It's a Super Bowl winning team. They're going to do it again. You know, and they could. It's just very low probability, right? So generally, I feel like they have too many points just added to them. Mickey Hill. Oh, yeah, this is a way better medium to communicate, Mickey. You know me, I'm not very good with the like Discord chat. Not good at it. I don't know what Big Rye's doing, but
my camera's out of focus, so I was just trying to fix it. We're good now. How are you, Mickey? Josh, Madcapper, Mickey, Marcus. I'm gonna bet next week. I'm liking the Bills -2 over the Lions and Falcons +1 over the Titans. I think the biggest thing for me this year, Fat Guy, is convincing me not to bet against Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions pretty much on a weekly basis. I know there's going to be value on them at some points, but oh man, is that a team I hate.
Yes, it is. You somehow, you don't, I had big hate on for the Texans. You don't mind them, though.
No, I like the Texans. I think they've got a veteran squad, and I think the coaching is unknown, but I think that's a positive. I feel like the coaching could be an upgrade. It's but like I'm saying that as in I don't think they're going to be last place. Like maybe maybe slight
yeah, okay, good.
Maybe between average and the worst.
How many wins?
6 maybe.
Okay.
Like off the top of my head, just very, very roughly.
6.5. You think 6.5 is a reasonable leaning under 6.5 leaning?
Yeah, I'd lean under.
Yeah, not 6.5. Not 6 flat.
I think it's. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I feel like their OU is like 4.5. So at 4.5, I think it's good value.
Low.
Well, that's the thing, right? That's why I can't believe it's the value
not
is
butter?
There. Exactly. So kickoff has happened. It looks like it was a touchback, and Mason Rudolph is going to start at quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I have to have the depth chart up here because, to be honest, I don't know all 180 players on both sides. And there might be more now. I think they have extended rosters past 90 players as well. But I don't know why I think that.
We have a Canadian connection with Mason Rudolph. He's dating Canadian tennis star Eugenie Bouchard. I don't know if you knew that.
Well, I'm glad you brought filler because that's all that was.
Yeah.
Quick hit. What's Deontay Johnson? Forgot his first name.
Deontay. Wow, it really is early in the season. You forgot Deontay. Okay. I'm a fan of Eugenie Bouchard, Mickey. I'll be real here.
We're going to look back to 2020 and see where the Steelers
Mickey, I don't know if you heard this, but right before kickoff, you could bet the under 32 at -126. And then the second that the game turned live, you could bet under 32.5 at -111. I have no clue why, but that's what happened at Pinnacle. And the OU's already down to 31.5 live after
Ooh,
2 plays.
2 plays. Oh, play action.
To the 41.
Najee Harris, first-round pick.
He is obviously a tremendous runner of the football, but he is also good catching the ball out of the backfield. He's patient. He has great vision.
I haven't looked at any fantasy projections or stuff, but Najee Harris has to be up there.
I don't think he's in the top 15.
No
For us,
Dak,
he
no
might
Big
be,
Ben.
for us, it's more than likely he probably is. I imagine he's like 14th. Still a rookie running back, so.
As a receiver also. 2nd down and 7. Here's a handoff to Ray McLeod, and that's well played.
Why are you
Najee Harris 31st in the rankings? I'm very surprised
Okay,
by
so
that.
I even went low.
RB 15.
Oh, okay. So, mate, when in terms of how we would have it ranked, 15's about right.
There's a new add-on here for Fantasy Pros, strength of season or strength of schedule for the season. Which is
Yeah, but
interesting.
that's the problem is though if they use that. I hate stuff like that. Depends on the implementation. If you're going to use strength of schedule, but you're using pure stats, the variance on those stats is ridiculous. One, so it doesn't line up. It would have to be based on chances are that one team is ahead versus another, and one team's run defense. It'd be a pretty complicated formula. So I'm curious what criteria it is and how they implement it.
What's crazy is production aside, Najee Harris is probably going to be in the top, barring injury, he's probably going to be in the top 5 for snaps played at running back. That's my prediction.
Josh Allen is forecasting something good for Big Rise Under, I would imagine.
Oh, the pigskin is loose.
We're a few seconds behind, not only because we're Canadian, but because of the stream. Speaking of Canadians, you see Neville Gallimore over there? Oh, Micah Parsons got it? All right, this is going to be a big thing for me, a learning curve. The numbers thing isn't going to work for me. I was very displeased with that.
That's going to be tough.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. That's how Big Ryan and I identify positions. I don't know why they did it. You know what? It's got to be for jersey sales, guys getting college numbers, some continuity. I don't know.
For me, it's going to be it's going to take just a couple weeks of regular season play, and you'll have everyone down again. It's just going to be that learning curve.
But identifying guys, though, and defenses, it's a little bit easier when. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I know Brady was really upset because, as a veteran player, you use those numbers as a tell.
Yeah. Well, personnel packages, it's the easiest one. Although guys with 40s numbers are still.
Oh, what's going on, Detroit? One time, he's here. What's going on, buddy?
Sorry, I just locked in a great refinancing rate for my student loans with Credible.com.
Credible? Where'd you hear about that?
Seriously? I'm literally the Credible, Dave. We've been friends for years. Finding great rates is my whole thing.
Sorry, Credible. I forgot.
When you're looking for loans, it's either credible or it's not.
Well, it's going to happen. L's are a part of this. Prognostication comes with a lot of folly. Is John Cena still wrestling? Isn't he too big for that?
I have seen him back. A funny story. You know how we watch football? I think all of us can relate. We watch football. Well, I guess maybe not. This is maybe a Canadian thing. but in Canada we get like the same commercial for like some weird TV show like probably 15, 20 times a game.
Yes.
And
it usually doesn't line up with our demographic.
No. And I was watching a show with my wife, and between every commercial they have a Wipeout commercial, and John Cena's like the face of Wipeout right now. So she absolutely hates John Cena, and I told her this is how I feel about This Is Us and The Good Doctor.
The Good Doctor.
Having to see
Those
that
are the
many
two big ones.
commercials. It's crazy. Oh,
Garrett Gilbert.
Interesting.
He's like, how good is Garrett Gilbert? We're going to put him 35th best quarterback in the NFL, maybe?
I don't know.
He's not terrible, but that's around the range.
He's an average backup.
Yes. Well, I feel like he's slightly better than average backup, which still isn't, the gap's nothing.
Yeah.
Here's a guy who's underrated. Here's a guy. There you go. I just did it. Tony Pollard. Like, not that bad a player, but that's another example of like running back is not that. I don't know. We've been saying it for 10 years. The gap isn't that big. It just isn't in terms of win probability. Tony Pollard's had some very good performances, not only as a spell back, but also in lieu of Ezekiel Elliott starting.
He made the read, but it was slow. It was inaccurate.
He was afraid. Scary.
Gilbert a little disappointed in himself on that one. Even though he had pressure in his face, he still had a chance with a receiver with a lot of room to run. But you look at last year, even as good as Dak was in those first 5 games prior to the injury, it was the turnovers that got them behind in so many of those games, and most of those turnovers came at the hands of Zeke Elliott fumbling the ball. So that definitely has to get.
Why you just run twice here? I guess you're not trying to win. Doesn't even matter. Nice. Is that Lamb? Noah Brown. Okay,
Noah
the same hair. I don't even know who that is.
He's a 7th-round pick from 2017. He's been with Dallas the entire time, and to be honest, not a guy that I'm super familiar with, even though he has been in the league.
Oh,
for a few years.
Yeah, he's a 5th or 6th receiver. I think I remember him now. But I wonder how many snaps he's even played. 60?
Organizations looking at what happens with the Bears. Bears would love
Cassius Marsh out there
to take that spot as the starting quarterback, and they have Nick Foles as a backup, and they have Andy Dalton, who would then be the backup. I don't know that the backup quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys is necessarily on the roster right now. And that's probably true for, I even heard that Phillip Rivers has talked about maybe in the middle of the year, if a quarterback were to go down, a team was in contention. You see a lot of movement after camp when guys are released. 2nd and 7, and this one is out of the reach.
That was an errant throw.
Right now we're seeing, you wonder,
It looked like the time went up in his head, and he chucked it. He's just lucky there wasn't a safety back there. I don't know how much of that was luck and how much of that was good awareness.
They got a couple guys here. There's Connor McGovern and Lale Collins. Those are starting offensive linemen.
What's going on, Zaps?
Betting on this game is peak degeneracy. For the most part, I have heard of sharp people being able to beat this, but they end up shying away because of low limits. But generally, I agree with you here. I don't know who that guy is. He looked quick, though.
Dowdle.
Rico, that's a fun name.
Yeah. College free agent. He joined the team last year in May. From South Carolina. 5'11", 214 is what he's listed at. 1st and goal here for the Cowboys on the 5. They're in the I formation. Double tight end. And they're running the ball. Pittsburgh does a good job, though, to hold them to one.
Schultz looks more like built like a receiver.
Hit some passes and just keep it moving. Now can they punch it in? But I think, you know, a lot of discussion this offseason about Zeke Elliott and some of the struggles that he had last year. He knows that, you know,
I just realized I'm like one of those commercials. I'm not actually wearing pants right now.
But you can't discount the impact that all of those injuries along that offensive line had on his performance also.
Yeah, we did, Mickey. We did. It got pretty hot. I went away to the interior of BC with it was almost like a mini family reunion. Nice sack. And I got actually dizzy from heat for once, and that never happens. I didn't get a sunburn. I didn't wear sunscreen, but yeah, it was pretty bad. I did think it was weird though. We had like cooling stations, and they closed school once, and then I always thought it was strange. I'm like, what do they do in like the South in Nevada? I'm pretty sure they don't close schools. Like guys work outside, I would imagine still.
Ty Nishke got beat there on the left side by
I think
Alex
it's Inseki.
Highsmith. Thank you, Inseki. Alex Highsmith beat him. 3rd-round pick from 2020.
Ty Inseki played a lot of snaps as a rotational lineman for the football team. I guess that's what they still are, eh?
Yep.
Good for Big Rise under to end in just 3 points.
Yeah.
Assuming this kick is made, nothing's a guarantee in this life.
Let's see who Dallas has. Greg Zerline listed at kicker. They don't have anyone else here unless our lads is incorrect. Yeah, it's somebody else here. Number 7. They don't even have one listed. And he's good.
That was the ugliest field goal I can remember.
Gilbert got him down there, couldn't get him into the end zone. Cowboys strike first in Ohio.
I'm really nervous. I don't know what I should wear. Just wear something not too crazy. Remember, it's a business dinner, not a costume party.
On the Spotty Network, this is what she heard.
Just wear something crazy. Remember, it's a costume party. Costume party. Yeah.
Of 5G.
Anybody want to split a turkey leg?
Yeah, the weather has been it's been hot here.
Caliente?
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how much Garrett Gilbert and Mason Rudolph end up actually playing.
Who they must have who's the Duck Hodges? Right? That was the other guy?
Well, they've got the Cowboys at least have Cooper Rush and Ben DiNucci on the roster.
Yeah, DiNucci.
And then from Pittsburgh, we have Dwayne Haskins and Joshua Dobbs. It's actually a very, very respectable quarterback room in Pittsburgh between those 5 or 4 guys. It's funny because, like, his depth, I'm saying, oh, that's pretty deep. But if any of those 3 guys had to start, it probably wouldn't be good news for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but that's anything, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, the Masked Singer's coming back this fall. I didn't know that.
Yeah, exactly. Zap said he's here just to see Joshua Dobbs start second half. I've liked what I've seen from Dobbs, and it'll be interesting to see Haskins play. Like, Haskins isn't bad.
Well, that's
like for preseason.
Yes,
snaps,
okay. Yes, Haskins has physical attributes.
A little peek behind the curtain, I see.
What's going on here? It just feels like a carousel. It's one of my favorite songs.
Yeah, probably my favorite song from the Brat Pack. Not a
Is
lot
that
of
what it?
not a lot of competition. The Canadian band Brat Pack, also one of the funniest music videos of all time. Interesting, Zap said that he heard that Tomlin's against the spread track record in the preseason is abysmal.
What does that mean, though? I mean, I guess it could mean something. I mean, I'll just say I mean a couple more times.
Violent tackle there from 11
Micah
on the Cowboys.
Parsons. Well, he's the first-round pick linebacker that they chose.
Yeah, that was. If he's going to make plays like that this season, then they've got.
That's
a
how
good
you
player on
tackle
their
too,
hands.
like trying to hit the ball. Man, they really like the Cowboys. Cause it's interesting how many first-round linebackers, or is Jalen Smith a second-round pick? Leighton Vander Esch first, and Micah Parsons now a first.
Jalen Smith's a second.
Yeah,
Parsons a first. Leighton Vander Esch is a first. These are
Vander Esch
probably all
is
just said.
injured though, right?
Well, they also have Keanu Neal, ex-Atlanta
Yeah.
Falcon,
Yeah.
and they also spent a 5th-round pick on Jabril Cox in this draft. Linebacker is an important part to the Dallas Cowboys general management. Let's put it that way.
Well, clearly they're not. They had a pretty bad defense. It's is Vander Esch out there 55?
It looks like him.
Yeah,
And he helped bounce that play outside, but guys on the outside didn't get it done.
He was so good to start the first season, or sorry, his rookie season. It kind of went downhill since then. But you get a neck injury, that's got to be like, it's got to be the worst one when it comes in terms of production post neck injury, like or post injury rather. I mean, obviously you could say ACL, but I always feel like neck injury is the scary one.
Zap's asking if there's any action on this game. He was hoping to get Cowboys +3, but he couldn't find it. Yeah, I have an interesting story pregame. So I wanted to bet the under in this game, and I saw it at 33 a couple days ago. Left it alone because I wanted to see what would happen. It came down to 32, but the juice was -126, which was crazy. So that was the market like a second before the game started. And then the second kickoff happened, they put the OU up on Pinnacle, and the live market was under 32.5 at -111. So I jumped on that right away. And currently live, it's at 30.5.
So you gained a half point, and roughly what, 15 points of juice?
Yeah, it's
pretty good.
It's unreal. It's just silly. Like it's obviously a mistake on their part, but it happened and took advantage of it.
Interesting enough, Zaps, I don't know if 3 is a key number in a preseason game. Isn't that funny? Because it would be totally different considering they go for it on 4th down, or sorry, on 2-point conversions more often. So it's funny how like any NFL data you have as far as key numbers, I don't think translates nearly as well, and it's not as accurate.
It looked like a decent pass from Rudolph, but a drop from Claypool. It wasn't exactly like in the breadbasket. We're going to get a replay here.
Oh, mine. You can catch that. That is a very catchable ball.
It was. I got a feeling, he took his eye off to see where the hit was coming from, and he still took it anyway. So,
Vicky said it best. It's a cliche, but it's accurate. Alligator arms. Because if you're looking to get where you're going to get hit, I mean, I guess it's preseason, but that's kind of unforgivable if it was regular season. Who is the punter for Ooh. He didn't fair catch that?
It's Presley Harvin III, 7th-round pick from this year.
Presley? Any relation to Percy Harvin?
Well, let's do a deep dive on Presley Harvin III. From Georgia Tech, or played in Georgia Tech. 5'11", 263 pounds.
That's why I asked a little bit. He looked a little chunky.
Presley Harvin weight is the 4th most popular thing searched for after Presley Harvin.
I didn't want to pot call the kettle fat here, but I was curious because that would make him roughly the same weight as me. Like if you were to condense it down, I've got 40 pounds on him, but I'm also 7 inches taller. Now there is a muscle factor thing, I get that, but he looked a little chunky monkey.
Presley Harvin III and Percy Harvin have similar names, but they are not related.
Oh, that answers that. Although I'm going to need a Snopes to debunk that or confirm it. Okay, I just saw the greatest commercial. FoxNation.com is selling streaming specials to 6 different Clint Eastwood movies. Clint Eastwood, an American Outlaw. Got to be honest, I'm a big Clint Eastwood fan, so I'd be into that. But very odd commercial, something you wouldn't see in a Canadian feed. Is boxing coming back? Like, is it a thing again?
I think networks see the success of the UFC and probably go from there. Also, like if you were going to promote a boxing match, why wouldn't you be doing it right now during
it makes sense.
Football game?
I agree with that. That completely makes sense, but I don't know, I remember it being big in the 90s when I was a kid because my parents used to order it, and that was like a big day. That was a big day. Zaps, baseball is the hardest thing to gamble on. I can 100% say that with full gusto. I really, really believe that. There's a really interesting book I read called The Theory of Modern Baseball. Holy, is it difficult. Don't forget, baseball has the lowest margins, which usually is a good indicator that that they have their prices are very close to equilibrium, right? Because why else would they put out a low margin? Whereas the opposite is true for a prop, is they don't really know a lot of the time, so they just charge huge juice on both sides. So yeah, there would be extreme variance too because of the volume, right? Here, this is the book, and I highly recommend this book. I just posted it. I posted in the chat. Mickey, I quit betting MLB after the trade deadline. I think, and now that's another thing I've heard though, is it gets progressively harder. That a lot of the guys I follow, because I've done a lot of let's just say I don't know, clam scraping, clam diving, trying to listen to other people and stuff like that. Because there's sports I really don't have a handle on, baseball being one of them, right? So I still don't know anything about baseball, but what I do know is I as a market, it's very efficient and very interesting and very difficult. So I highly recommend the book that I just posted in there. And, oh, geez. Nice play.
Really good play by Gilbert.
That was great.
And to go back and answer Josh Allen's question, neither of us like the single-digit number change. It's just annoying.
Absolutely, pure annoyance. Do not like it. I love the old number system. I thought it was fantastic, and it's unfortunate. It is The Theory of Modern Baseball. It's a Japanese guy that did bet bet a lot on American baseball and probably Japanese, I would imagine. I don't recall him bringing it up in the book, but it's It's very in depth in the because in handicapping, which I learned because I'm trying to write a book, but it's getting more and more difficult because you just realize in anything that you want to learn or be an expert at, or you think you are, there's just so much more of the onion to peel. So they call that a bottom up approach, is what he's talking. It's more about baseball modeling, but it's very, very interesting. Yeah, go take a look at it. Yeah, it's pretty cheap too. That's another reason I can't believe how books, like when you think of everything you pay for, books can, like, these types of books offer the best bang for your buck you can possibly get. But part of the losing is that you continue to search out and invest time in books, and they very rarely pan out.
Another great play from Alex Highsmith.
Oh my, we have a sighting. This is like the channel's DB Cooper. You know, oh well, there's contact after the offense, so maybe like he's the Zodiac of the channel, Roland Walton, back in the house. Albino hippie breeding a microphone. I think I know who he means.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. It's actually quite accurate. How are you, Roland?
He was the youngest head coach to win a Super Bowl at 36.
Yeah, Zap's agreeing that, like, that's where, like, sports betting gets really tough, too, when you have to watch, like, if you're having to watch the market all day to possibly find value is so tough. Like, and then, like, I know that some sites give you different options when it comes to betting baseball. Like, sometimes you can bet who they think is going to play. Like, not who they think is going to play, but you can bet it where you, like, lock in on pitchers. So I think there could be value possibly, like, finding the top pitchers and then maybe betting against them in hopes that they aren't going to play. But I don't even know how common that is.
There was one thing I did see in the book for plausible opportunity, is the book, like, it pretty much breaks down, like, win probability of each pitch and how it's adjusted. There's a possibility you could find value in a live betting market. And the other thing about if you live bet, that's usually less sharp inducive. Like, it's less noticeable if you're a big bettor. So yeah. That was one thing I did draw from it. The other thing I did draw is that I don't think I could beat the two markets. I'm confident I couldn't beat, regardless of the approach I took, whether it be scraping information and trying to do a top-down approach where, we look at market data and try and bet, or even modeling bottom up. I don't think English Premier Soccer and mid to late season MLB baseball, I don't think I could do it personally. It would be profitable.
And Zaps, you bring up a really good point about live betting has insane juice and there's no edge. Like, you really do have to be careful when betting live because the juice is just, it can be astronomical on some sites.
Yes. This is the argument, though. What does that tell you, though? If there is that they aren't that confident in their own lines, so that means that you just have to be more selective. There is probably value even still with the ridiculous juice. That's another thing I kind of learned during this exploratory period, probably the last 8 months, maybe, is that the things with the high margins are still beatable at some. Theoretically, are still beatable because they don't put the effort into it. They don't, or they just don't know. Right. And when there's unknown, there's more ripe opportunity. Whereas the margins in baseball, as we both know, is so tiny. Like if you just do money line, for instance, that, like, you know what I mean? Even if you do get it right, you're only a couple pennies better. And I don't know if it's, it'd be hard to feel confident being on the right side of it. Right. Because how big of an edge could you really have in baseball? 1%. Oh my goodness. Dylan Toddfield battling the Zodiac Roland Walton, who most certainly is not him. Hey, which one's Superman, Dylan? You or Roland? Are you Clark Kent? Dylan goes into the men's room rather than the phone booth, and he changes into Roland Walton.
Oh, Peyton Manning joining the booth.
He looks a little bit thin. He looks like a dad bod, though.
Thanks, Troy. I appreciate it.
No shock, but congratulations. Awesome.
Glad to be your teammate, pal.
No
By Curious George. Holy, how many aliases? What's the plural of alias? Aliases? Alias sounds like a more fun way of doing it.
A nice catch and run for a first down for the Dallas Cowboys, a gain of 17 yards. You get your dad.
I think we should get just a fantasy league with Roland, Dylan, and By Curious George. That would be fun.
I don't know. You'd need a psychiatrist in there.
I do like this ruse, though. It's got a really nice touch to it.
It's got flavor to it. Come on now.
Phillip Rivers hasn't ruled out a return. They mentioned that earlier, and I read an update on that too yesterday. And the funny thing is, it's like, I don't care. Like, I don't even know if he could help a team get better that's going to be like a legit playoff team in the run. Like, I don't.
Well, I'm trying to think of a oh, Tony Meatballs, hello, sir. I'm trying to think of like a correlation. It's kind of like, remember when the Texans were arguably the best team in the league? Was that 10 years ago? And who did they have? What was their? It was like, it wasn't like, it sounded like Y.A. Tittle, the legend, but it was like T.J. Yates. Was that who played?
Yeah, the
because I think Schaub got hurt. And not that Schaub was great, but he was. That team was pretty well rounded. So, and they offered who was it? Kurt Warner over $1 million a game, and they even kicked the tires on Dan Marino. I actually think Kurt Warner at the time could have helped someone. I agree with you. I'm not so sure about Phillip Rivers to, get it up.
The Dylan said he missed us. He says that Tony is irrelevant. That's big time, because Tony is a valuable contributor to the channel, Dylan. That's not nice to say. He thinks that Andy Dalton was his fantasy QB last year.
Dylan, we're an arm's length away on the Discord. It may not be your thing, but if you missed us, that is one way to keep in contact. We're not that type, Dylan.
That's right, Troy. You're already signed up for the third quarter of week 3. You don't know it yet, but I've talked to your agent.
So I want to go back to that point, because you brought up an interesting point. What teams could legitimately be like a fringe contender, let's say, where a quarterback goes down and Rivers could step in and possibly have success or give them a better chance?
That's tough. It's pretty vague. I can't think of like, yikes, because I feel like there's a lot of middling teams. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and Josh Allen said Indianapolis. I mean, Indianapolis, I think, is a top tier team. I think they have one of the best rosters in the NFL. It's just, when you lose Nelson, and not that Wentz is, I'm going to say I even like Wentz. Oh, nice pickup. Good job. More for the under for Big Rye.
Another play by Highsmith. That's his third excellent play of the game.
So, but when you talk in terms of what was I going to say? Like Indy, like Wentz isn't a big deal, but the whole team's well-rounded. So I guess Josh Allen does have some merit to it. I mean, that's probably the most natural fit, and that's probably why he threw that out there. Because, I mean, he could get a pretty nice payday if Carson Wentz is that injured. It's unfortunate, though. I think Frank Reich is the best in-game coach in the NFL. I really like him. And, wow, was that blocked?
Yep.
This under is looking great.
So this brings up an interesting, additional thought, is that then looking at these teams, what are really talented teams where if a quarterback goes down, they should make that extra push and keep trying to compete. For instance, like a team like Kansas City, if they lose Mahomes, is it worth it to sign a guy like Rivers to keep fighting, or do you think like they're just done at that point?
I think it's worth it. I mean, you're gonna have to change your offense though, right? But that's doable though, right? Like, here's a good example. It's gonna be funny me saying Brady's decline, but there was one in New England. It got obviously he had a career resurrection in winning the Super Bowl last year with Tampa Bay, but like they were switching to a less downfield West Coast offense that was more run heavy. Like that team that won the Super Bowl that beat, I believe, the Rams, one of the worst rosters I've seen win the Super Bowl. It's because this change of philosophy. But a lot of those teams that are good, if you just get a good quarterback in terms of procedure, that's enough. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I'm just looking at the teams right now, and I'm just going to list off teams where I could see him coming in if there is an injury near the end of the season, like pretty much just for the playoffs. Miami.
Yes.
Baltimore.
Dylan mentioned him. Yeah.
Cleveland.
I don't know about Baltimore.
Indy.
Cleveland, yes. Cleveland, definitely.
Possibly Green Bay.
I don't think. No, they have Jordan Love. Why bother?
New Orleans. They've got two guys there as well. And then I'd also say maybe the Rams or San Francisco to me are interesting.
San Francisco makes no sense. You got Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So
I
that's
guess
gone. Rams, yes, because it's Ben. What's his name? I can't remember his name. That was a crazy game. He started against Seattle, and then he got hurt, and then Jared Goff came in and played an okay game, and the defense won them that game. I like the Rams. I really do. That division is so difficult. It's the best division I can remember.
The
like
NFC
top
West?
to bottom. Who's the worst team? The Cardinals? Cardinals are fine.
Yeah.
Cardinals are not a bad team.
Cardinals are on the rise.
Yeah, they're not. I still don't think they're good, but they're not. Holy.
Yeah, between that and the AFC North to me are the two.
Yeah, AFC North as well. Okay, Dylan. We can make some bets here, buddy.
The live OU is now at 2 or 25.5.
Oh, looking good, Big Rye. Well, Dylan, I told you can always make a wager with me. I'll accept. Your money's green here, buddy.
Don't you guys have something outstanding like for this next season? Did you guys?
I actually have a folder on my computer of Dylan bets. He does renege on some of them, but when push comes to shove, he generally follows through on the one. So let me see. I have a folder of Dylan propositions or proclamations rather. So let's look at this one. I will definitely score better than 60% next season. That was 2 seasons ago, though.
What a catch by Claypool.
Unbelievable.
And it looks like I think he just got the air knocked out of him on the play. But we'll see.
I'll bet you 1K that I get first on the leaderboard next year. I have that. I have the picture of that. So I have that one that you'll come first on the leaderboard. $1,000. I'm very willing to take that bet. I might even, out of the goodness of my heart, give you 2 to 1. What else do I got here? I have a screenshot of that, by the way.
performance testing, the Civic was the quickest around the track. With more power.
Last year was pathetic for me. Financially I did really well last year, Dylan. I got to be honest.
For all kinds of fun.
Maybe in the contest picking those games it was tough. Yeah.
Contact your Honda dealer today or shop online.
Cassone almost hit 60% last year, and
This time we come in peace. 8
yeah, boy.
juicy, crispy, and delicious. Get nuggets delivered exclusively on Popeye's app.
I'll tell you what. Oh, and Dylan, by the way, the Ultimate Fantasy Tournament, I won. It was me. Numero uno. Not you.
Quick, the quicker picker upper.
So there's that. Oh, I missed the emoticon. Oh, the Dylan emoji. No eyebrows.
Ritz Cheese Crispers, where the crispiness of Ritz meets the bold taste of cheese.
I need a bite.
Listen, you want to do some gambling, make some bets? I'm more than open to it, Dylan. I'll even butter your crust.
That's a nice callback.
No. He's going to send us a pic from this morning.
You still got the fro going, Dylan? I liked the fro last time.
Mine's starting to get curly a little bit. I don't know what's going on. I was supposed to go gray by now. I don't know why I haven't.
Just a genetic marvel, like always.
I was a pretty good athlete. I could have been. I was also the laziest guy of all time. There's
Yeah.
that.
September 9th on NBC. Stream games on mobile with the Yahoo Sports and NFL app.
I should have been a boxer. That would have been decent.
This Cowboy organization has won 5 Super Bowls. Here are some of the busts here in Canton. Emmett, Irvin, Staubach,
Tom Landry.
and our guy Troy.
How do they make a bronze bust?
I was just thinking, like, that's got to be one of the coolest things in sports.
To Peyton and that honor of getting a chance to
Like, to make the Hall of Fame in the NFL and to have a bust of yourself, like, I think that's pretty damn cool.
present him.
Nice run defense. 31. Oh, is that
think
Maurice
it's-
Kennedy?
I think so.
That says it all for the first overall draft pick and a guy that won 3 Super Bowls.
Well, you're going to have to wait, Dylan. We do have Discord, by the way.
That's got to be special. Well, very special. I've said it. You know, I mean, it meant a lot to me, of course, when I was
Yeah, it sure is.
inducted into the Pro Football
Kathy Lee Gifford at linebacker.
Center, when the guy can ask anybody he wants, and he asked me. I know a lot of people who were around those teams in '89 when I came in 90. I mean, that was the ultimate upset that I'm presenting him. Nobody could have imagined, but it's a relationship I'm very.
Did yours cut out? My stream stopped for this play.
Yeah, it did for me as well. I just saw the handoff. What's going on, Sarah Vuth? How you doing? Looking forward to this season, I can see.
Hello, sir.
Captain Crash, Harris.
3rd and 12. Couldn't have gone too well.
You know, all 3 of those guys, they've waited a long time, and it's always special. But I think when you think that maybe it's never going to happen for you.
Here we go. Here's a recent picture of Roland Walton.
12 here, and the pass is behind the intended target.
Strong like cock.
Washington to bring
And the fro is strong. This is something.
Holy.
they got a chance at maybe
Dude, that hair is ridiculous.
first down. And you talked about it, Joe.
It's a tough concept, Dylan, but you could look up when you take a picture. You don't have to look at your phone.
Down and kind of had an up and down time as the
You know, eye contact is important. Fat guy taught me that.
in these preseason games for both him and Dwayne Haskins, who we'll see.
Oh,
Here is Sam Sloman, who
Dude, this under is looking very healthy right now.
say the kicking game
yeah, it's been rough.
here in August. Drew Pearson will
How's your off season been, Sarah Booth?
we come back to Canton. Cowboys still on top. Reason.
Oh, that's a fro, all right.
Summer's here. The grill is fired up. The pool is ready to go.
Do you think they
Or just laying back.
do you think they make Dylan style his fro for Passover?
Favorite snacks. The summer is yours.
Okay, I'm gonna go grab a snack. I'm gonna be about 2 to 3 minutes.
Frito-Lay. Let's summer.
We did it again. Verizon has been named America's most reliable network by Root Metrics, and our customers rated us #1 for network quality in America, according to J.D. Power. #1 in reliability 16 times in a row. Most awarded for network quality 27 times in a row, proving once again that nobody builds networks like Verizon. That's why we're building 5G right. That's why there's only one best network.
The wait is over. It's time to suit up for the biggest season ever. Time for the preseason. With every game on NFL Network, including 23 live games. Time to see these guys back in action. These guys in new threads. And how these young guys stack up. It's time for football. NFL preseason, August 12th and 29th on NFL Network.
It's slowly but surely, Mickey. When I started to do some number crunching today, and I realized that I didn't have all the data I needed, so I went through and I had to adjust all the spread lines and all the juice for the NFL past season, but I found a really, really good website that I'm able to go back and get that information. So I've got the information collected now. Just over the next month, it's going to be working on kind of dissecting all those different things. I'm still having I'm still going through my head trying to conceptualize how I'm going to do it on the back end. And then Fat Guy and I had a nice conversation today, and I'm going to try to make it where we can take the data that we have and just enter it in and kind of make it like an algorithm formula of just putting in these numbers and spitting out, like, is there value, where is the value on spreads, on money lines, on OUs, where the lines are moving, so we get a better idea of what it is rather than us just like creating these theories. Like, it has worked out for us in the past, but I think it would be fun to do something that's a little more accurate and something where we can give really, really quick answers and kind of understand like how markets and how books are adjusting. So it's a lot to process, and for me it's just kind of day by day seeing what I can get at. I also, my wife and I just got a puppy, so this past month has been super, super hectic for me trying to get this puppy trained up. So unfortunately for me, it's been taking up more of my time. What's going up, Jamie? My boys are back, Fat Guy. That Raiders hat has to go. I agree. Maybe that's what he's going to do right now. Yeah, Jamie. Things are going well. Mickey hit you with that quick one too, Dylan. What's the difference between me and Jamie Chiefs? He's sane. That's excellent. Nice first down here for the Cowboys. Lots of slants tonight by teams.
Also fourth in receiving yards, and we showed the highlight of that 1975 NFC divisional playoff against the Vikings. 50-yard game-winning touchdown with 24 seconds left. And why is it called? Well, it was Roger Staubach who said, I threw the ball as far as I could. I closed my eyes and said a Hail Mary. That's right. And that's what we know it as these days. The Hail Mary was born. Well, Roger and I flew into Canton together, and here's Dowdle on first down. You can't be around Roger very long and not have him start talking about Super Bowl 13 when they lost to the Steelers, and He was talking about it, knowing this preseason game between these two franchises. He still hasn't let it go. But I think, you know, what Drew Pearson said was very telling, and I can't imagine a player who was more respected by his teammates than Roger Staubach. It was a great choice by Drew, and looking forward to seeing his speech come Sunday afternoon. Second down and 6 here for Dallas, leading by 3. Handoff is to Shewo Olanalua, who had a nice catch and run earlier when Peyton Manning joined us, a gain of 1.
I pump iron while he pumps his shrimp to the Pat Mahomes poster in his room.
Two fan bases that, as they say, travel extremely well. Pittsburgh Steelers, the Dallas Cowboys. Jerseys all over the place here in Canton this weekend. Third down and 5.
Pretty much running like a hybrid fullback on that play. It looks like he was just short of the first down, but this is going to come back another 10 yards. So it's going to be 3rd and 15 here for the Cowboys.
You look at this game here, Joe, and 3rd and 5 running the football. And so just for our viewers out there, a lot of times these coaches, they just want to look at different situations and get some plays run and see how these guys are.
I would love to see the Cowboys get back to like that run first philosophy, but like Prescott is just so talented. I don't know if you can take the ball out of his hands, especially with how this O-line is now, which is even more precedence to establish the run and have success on the ground. Oh, almost picked off. I don't know what it is with all these like quick hitting type slants, but it seems like it's just been dangerous. I feel like that's just an easier play to make, and it looks like the Cowboys have Cooper Rush in at quarterback. Multitasking here, so I'm missing out on some of these moves.
They're trying to figure out who exactly is going to man that nickel slot after Mike Hilton left for the Cincinnati Bengals. Cameron Sutton, who's been primarily an inside guy, looks like he'll be playing outside. He'll still get some of the time, but there are some position battles on this defense for a defense that has been, you know, really outstanding.
First charge, timeout, Dallas, 30 seconds.
And before a 4th and 15, the Cowboys take a timeout. We'll be right back after this from the NFL.
NFL Fantasy is back.
Let's go!
For the biggest season ever. More catches, rushing yards, touchdowns, and fantasy points. From the best in the league to the rookies that could make this your year. Just sign up and draft. It's easy to play. Optimize your lineup with one click.
I'll have some of that!
And watch exclusive player stories.
Showing it's an ad, but they have that DeAndre Hopkins catch in the end zone to win that game, and I'm never going to get over that play. That play is insane.
He's been shut down with a strained shoulder. Initially they thought it was
Just like DTF.
maybe a week. Now it's going to end up being a couple of weeks, and he's not going to throw a football. Yeah, the Cowboys are downplaying it, but I think when your franchise quarterback.
All right, 4th and 15, and the Cowboys are going for it here at the 40-yard line. They go for it, and they get it. Oh, but the ball is what looks like to be fumbled.
And a nice return out to the 35-yard line by Antoine Brooks.
That was a very entertaining way to pretty much end up where it would have ended up if that ball wasn't caught. Ironically, it's better if this is considered a drop, but I think they're going to rule that a fumble.
Right now, catch and fumble. Steelers ball as they trail by 3.
An F-150 isn't an F-150 because of the name on the tailgate. It's an F-150 because it's built for tough, built to haul more, built to tow more.
I don't know if that guy might be having dinner. It's about that time for us. It's 6 p.m. for us, so he might just be grabbing some food.
Tough
Are we on yet?
Jamie, how's your off season been?
I thought we were doing a Zoom thing.
Confused? Maybe you just need a Snickers.
That's a good question, Mickey. I'm not sure if Fat Guy's been cooking every night. I'm assuming he is. I know that I know it's not ironic at all, but the Fat Guy loves to cook. You never trust a skinny chef. Oh yeah, Dylan. I think he eats more than enough for all of us every night. Oh, I hear some action, so it looks like he's coming back now.
And now they are here. The Yankees versus the White Sox on the Field of Dreams. Coverage begins next Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern, live on Fox.
Joe Buck. Major congratulations, my man, and welcome to the club. It will not be complete without,
Yikes! You keep the window open. The wind is just howling.
I don't know. You've also somehow managed to like zoom your camera in extra far.
I don't even know. I gotta fix it again.
And you missed a lot here. Oh, there you go.
I don't think I did. I.
Yeah, Dallas went for it on a 4th and 15. They got it.
They got it?
Yeah, and then after they got it, the receiver fumbled. And then Pittsburgh returned the ball to essentially where it would have been if they dropped it.
That's so weird.
Yeah. Also in chat here, DTF asked, what's the difference between me and Jamie Chiefs? And Mickey said he's sane. And Dilla said, no, I pump iron while he pumps his shrimp to the Pat Mahomes poster in his room.
It's not bad.
Dwayne Haskins is in at quarterback. Cooper Rush is in at quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. Mickey wants to know what you've been cooking.
Hold on one sec. I ended up just frying it a little bit and finishing in the air fryer. There's these pot sticker bags you can buy for 10 Canadian, giant ones from this. And I was an idiot, and I made some last night while I was playing poker, because I played poker till like 4 in the morning. And sometimes you need a snack. But I left the frozen bag on the counter all night like an idiot.
No.
So I got to like eat them. Like, I just don't have a choice. I guess I do.
Sucks.
I could eat the $7, but like, we don't do that in this house. So I have that, and you're not gonna like this. This is surf clam. So they call it hoki guy in sushi restaurants. So it's my favorite piece of sushi, and I usually pay $2 for it. And then I found where they got it, and it's like 15 cents a piece. So I spent like $100, and I have a freezer full. It's my favorite snack, and it's like no calories. So
that's terrific.
If I do end up losing weight, it's like 30 calories. How much? Like 110 calories for a snack. I did spend $40 Canadian on 13 ounces of soy sauce, though. It's the best soy sauce I've ever had. That was nice. That looked like an NFL play, you know what I mean?
Yeah, composure.
Thanks, babe. What's that? I got chocolate. Thank you.
it until it's too late. And for a guy of his caliber, I'm sure it was a bit of a wake-up call when he got released from Washington. And then he even cleared way.
No roasted garlic on the menu tonight for Fat Guy. From the sounds
No,
of it.
not right now. It's usually.
Cowboys come with the blitz up the middle.
He looked poised. He had good protection, though.
Excellent coverage there, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because that guy was on an island. There was
Yeah.
no one else in the middle of the field. By Israel Mukamu. Or Mukuamu?
Considering Haskins has considerable zip on the ball, like, why not just like lob that up if no one's around?
Yeah, it's tough, right? I don't know how exactly the players are coached. There's not a lot of quarterbacks like to put touch on the ball. Like Russell Wilson is one of the only guys I ever see put touch on the ball, and I don't know how
Kyler
much
Murray does too.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's it'd be interesting to know if that's something that's coached or if that's just how guys are used to playing.
Zaps with a good comment here.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That is pretty good, Zaps.
Man, Anthony Adams lost weight too. Holy.
I think Anthony Anderson, is that who you're looking for?
Same thing.
What games are they highlighting here? These are not. These must be Thursday night games.
I think they are.
Like, I'm going to be kind of alone. I'm going to be on an island here, but like to me those are all 5-star games, but thinking of the people at home, there's not a lot of excitement in those games. Was that all the, like, is there that many international games? I saw like the London one at the end.
The Pro Football Hall of Fame is located right here in Canton. 4th down and 5, and the Steelers will punt. The rookie Presley Harvin back to do the honors. He's got a big leg, and now we'll see if he can knock it down.
Holy!
Oh my!
Holy!
Oh my!
That's one of the best
is-
punts I've ever seen.
This is what legends are made out of.
Rookie.
You know what I love?
That's one of the best punts I've ever seen.
I love that they're. I don't know what it is with guys running down to down those punts, but they have a really
yeah.
tough time stopping at that one.
yeah, they do.
This guy has shown what he's capable of doing, and to be able to pin an offense back to start, it becomes a real weapon when you're able to check it up like that. Look like some of your golf shots I've seen over the years. You and Big Al Michaels over in Tahoe. I saw your game in Tahoe. That's right. Here. And we're going to have a false start, which will move the ball back 1 inch. There you go.
Yeah, Falcons host the Jets. Jacksonville plays Miami.
Let's go down to Aaron Andrews.
Nice to see Ben Roethlisberger on
2 games they've got announced.
Would you please for us?
Oh, nice, Aaron Andrews.
What a difference a year makes. Obviously, last year you coming back from elbow surgery. How much better do you feel this is?
A lot better. I thought I felt really good last year, and then you get out there and you start throwing and you realize
Nice run. Nice run.
and then you
Good job. So that's Dowdle. I'm not sure how to pronounce the name.
Rico?
Yep. That's pretty funny. Did you hear what Roethlisberger just said?
Yeah, I did.
For people not watching the street or the game, Roethlisberger was talking to Cower, and he was essentially jabbing him, saying that you definitely wanted us to run the ball, didn't you?
That's probably hard to. It's a hard habit to kick. Like if you're on the sideline.
Oh yeah.
Jamie's got a proclamation here. Hello, sir. He's putting it out there, calling his shots. 35-31, Chiefs Packers. He's got to roll with the home team. I mean, they've got to be favorites. Chiefs.
Yeah, the Chiefs have to be the favorites. The Packers are an interesting one because, like, who knows what kind of chemistry they're going to have with everything that's been going on. Because I didn't really believe a lot of it, and I still haven't seen the press conference, but it sounds like Rodgers didn't hold back.
Oh, really?
This is the nice thing about predictions, Dylan, is you can have one too.
Yes. What, Saints 100, everyone else 0?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Jamie challenge you. Make one. I thought we were cool, Dylan. Mickey making a Rams-Browns Super Bowl pick. I like that one. That would be... I would really enjoy that. I got to be real.
Oh, Dylan's got Saints Ravens. That was good execution by both sides on that last play. 51 saying it's on him, but like he broke for the ball pretty well.
It's a good half for the under.
Yeah, so far, so good. The live OU for the game is 18.5.
Ooh.
Well, we got, like, Drew Brees is retired. There's going to, like, this has been kind of like a golden age of quarterbacks. There's going to be a lot of guys retiring over the next few seasons that have been staples in this league.
I've always felt that about Cooper Rush. It's a great name. Dylan, I'd be willing to make you a bet in honor of Jamie. I'd be willing to bet you that the Chiefs will have more regular season wins. Or how about this? The Chiefs will go farther in the playoffs than the Saints will.
15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Yes, Zaps, but like nothing nothing is serious. Like I've done really, really well on like international soccer, but like the samples aren't as big either, right? College basketball, I know we can beat, but we haven't actually put pen to paper on that for the most part. I've taken lots of bets on college football and stuff like that and have done well that way, but I've never actually made wagers myself on those to a degree that I'd feel comfortable saying that I've beaten the market, other than perhaps international soccer. So, because there's a lot of value in those tournaments, but then again, there's so much. I don't know. The variance is so high. I mean, I've bet, I would say, every World Cup or Euro Cup since 2006, and some of the qualifiers, but like, just not very. Not nearly the volume that I would say it's overwhelmingly comfortable.
The other market I'm going to throw in there, and it's not even the fat guy and I, it's one of our friends, is an excellent handicapper when it comes to UFC.
Yes, yeah, he's pretty good.
So we've been positive when it comes to the UFC as well.
Yes.
But there's nothing him and I add other than bankroll management that could help.
Understanding pricing, like that's really it. Like that's it. Well, let's make a bet, Dylan. I'm willing to take it. Take you to task, buddy. Look how big the teleprompter is. Look how big that is. It's been a special night in Canton. You can pick it up the camera from the field.
That's what I need when we're doing the pick videos. Oh my goodness.
Holy.
Like it.
How much do you... All right, Dylan. I'll take this action, buddy. What do you want to bet?
That's 2 shanks now, Mickey. What's this? There's been a block, 2 shanks, and a very, very poorly made short kick from the Cowboys.
There's a chance they won't make the playoffs, Dylan. I'd want better than even money, though.
Do you have anything on that game, Mickey? Man, we got to get your grandma on the show if she can make picks like that.
Well, if you knew the math, Dylan, I wouldn't be hating on him too bad.
Oh, I get you. I get you. I put it together now, Mickey.
You didn't... Jeez. Oh, well.
Dylan, some things are just private.
They are.
Oh, Jamie's saying the Saints are going to be 9-8 this year.
I know.
Have him over 500. Well, because Dylan's got them going 18-0. They're going to win a game that's not even on the schedule this year. That's how good they're going to be.
They're that good.
(13-4) and win the Super Bowl. What's the Dylan? Let's set the OU at 13 wins. You take the over. Fat guy takes the under. 13 can be a push.
No, because he said 13. I'll give him. I'll be fair. I'll take under 11.5.
Man, you're giving him wins? You're going to give him wins?
Hold on here. Can't even find the line. Hard for me to negotiate. I still think 11.5 is pretty good, though. I'll take under that. You got to have 10,000 to bet 10,000, though. That's the big thing about doing that. You can't go around spouting the mouth off when, you know.
This is this is actually super interesting. It's gonna blow up your spot here, fat guy, but I'm gonna talk about it anyways. The New Orleans Saints regular season wins over under 9.5.
Yes.
Do you want to know what the juice is on the under?
What?
A minus 162.
Okay, I didn't know. I thought it was 9.5 flat. I was doing it pure on memory. I couldn't find it. But then the way you spoke, I'm like, what, am I wrong? And then no.
I guess I'm forgetting that Drew Brees is not playing this season. But
Yes.
they're like a hard 9. So Jamie saying 9 and 8 is actually way more accurate than anything anyone else has said.
Yes. Well, it's the most likely.
He's closest to the mean.
Yes.
Or
Yes.
median or whatever you want to call it. Dylan's going to take a picture of his Wells Fargo. He needs to put his money where his mouth is. I would ban him from the channel if I were you.
Well, no. You can have the 10,000, but putting it in escrow, right?
If it's 4, it's without Watson playing.
There's no way it's 4. Is it that low? I like the over if it's 4.
They Pinnacle, the site that I have been using, does not have Houston Texans listed at this moment.
Yeah.
But if it's anything like 4, 4.5, I'm probably going to be taking the over.
Not that we think they're good.
I think they're better than 4 wins. That's all I think.
Yes.
And that's fine, Dylan. Whatever you think of Jamie's ability to predict is up to you, but if it's according to the market, he's pretty spot on.
Zap's got a really good question here. What do we think about the Texans being home dogs to the Jags week 1? I mean, I'll let you take this first, Big Ryan. I'm very curious.
Well, what I think the game should be is a pick'em. So I think it's a pick'em game, and I think that the line should be what I think the line's actually going to be is Jacksonville minus 2.5. If they're the road team, that's my guess.
Okay. How do I put? This is a strange one because I feel like there you could get some value here. I kind of like the Texans at home in that game, to be honest. And it's not that I think I don't know if I'm confident in the style of football that the Jags potentially could employ. I don't think they have like the worst roster, but like I don't know. There's something I'm a little bit sour about that Travis Etienne pick, which makes me think they're going to be a really like chintzy college style offense, and I don't think that'll work. I really don't. I understand that you have Trevor Lawrence, but like Joe Burrow had one of the better starts to a season, and even then, it's still like it doesn't like mountain the win probability. So I actually don't mind the Texans in that game at this current moment. That, of course, can change.
And I might as well take a look because I don't actually know what the line is.
Jags will resemble the Ravens. I mean, if it does, that'd be impressive. I don't know if they're going to be able to pull that off. Like that's a pretty steep mountain to climb because the Ravens have been very resourceful, I guess I would say, on offense because like Lamar Jackson is very limited in certain abilities, and they've really gotten the most out of him, including an MVP season. So I just don't. The Ravens, as far as coaching, is just at the highest of the NFL. I'm not sure you're going to be able to meet that type of praise. Scheme, not execution. Exactly, Mickey. Yeah. Okay. We're on the same boat here. Sure. Yeah. Which that also almost makes me think it's a negative too. Like, if you're going like, trying to replicate the execution of the Ravens is about as hard as it gets. They're just good. They're very, very, very good.
And then let me highlight. I did find some information. So Jags Texans opened at 2.5. It's been bet up to 3, and it's 3.5 at some places as well. So DraftKings has a 2.5. Points bet is a 3. FanDuel 3. Sugar House 3.
I thought it was 2.5. What books are 3.5?
Sugar House. So like
a Fogazy book. Because 3.5 I'd probably take right now if I could. What was the juice on the 3.5 though? Is it like minus 125? Something stupid like that, where it's
minus
not
121. So
yeah, it's not even. It doesn't even.
But
yeah,
but that's one of those ones where you, like, I think there's value on taking the Texans money line because it's gonna it's gonna be something like plus 140, plus 150, somewhere in that range. And I think it's a coin flip. Like, really, who knows what you're gonna get from either side. So
not quite a coin flip because that'd be insane EV. But I mean they're not that big of dogs. You feel the Texans are, and I kind of feel the same way on that.
Yeah, and I'm gonna give the Jags are just slightly better. Right now, if the Texans are a 4.5 win team, the Jags are a 6.5 win team according to kind of the market. That gives me about 3 points, 1 point favorite from home field advantage. That's where I get to that 2.5, and that's pretty much where it opened at. But to me, there's just I'm fine with Jacksonville being a 6.5 win team, but I probably have the Texans as like a 6 win team. So it's very, very close. Like, that's why I do think it's pretty much a pick 'em. But
go ahead.
Everybody's going to have a little bit difference of opinion. Like, it's really easy, right? Like, if you're the opposite, if you think that they're a 7.5 win team, like for the Jags, and then you think it's a 3.5 win team, like, it could be a huge discrepancy, right? Like, that's how.
Yeah, that's why the market is what it is, right?
Yeah.
And then Mickey said there's a lot of chatter about Watson getting traded again. I don't think he's getting traded. I don't think he's playing again. I really think it's that bad. That's my opinion on it. I'm not sure. My guess is that the Texans are going to try and void his contract so they don't have to pay him. Like, I think it's that bad. He's guilty in the court of public opinion, and I think that's enough these days. So it's I have no intel whether he did or did not or what have you, but I think that's the strategy that the Texans are employing. Is they're going to try and void his contract because I don't think they can trade him. I like who's actually trading value for that. Mind you, someone might free roll with like a third round pick or something. Because I just really don't see him playing. He'll be on the. I really think he has a really high probability of being on the commissioner's exempt list.
The Fat Guy and I have talked about this
a lot, actually.
It's the most thing we've talked about over the last few weeks. And my whole thing is I think this is being mishandled by all the people involved, like at least the team and the NFL side of things, because it's a joke. They're making him show up to these things. They're playing him as like a third string safety when he's not. Like, if he's coming to camp and he's going to be on the team, like, he should be the starting quarterback. I don't know what the deal is there. I understand that he's probably not going to be able to play. So I understand if he's probably not going to be able to play, I get why, they're not giving him those first team reps. But at the same time, if that's the case, then like send him home. Like, pay the guy, make him sit at home, less of a distraction, and you can just deal with the team that you're going to have for this upcoming season. But I just think it's mishandled to have him show up, be there in person, have to field questions from reporters, and then they're essentially just blacklisting him while he's there. Like, I think
but if there's legal
way.
implications, you know what I mean? If they have to show some sort of intent that they that he was a part of the team, because if their goal is to void the contract, because it would save them an enormous amount of money, it'd be the biggest void ever, then you might have to show some purpose. So there might be legal reasons for why the team is handling it that way. So I can kind of, but then you have the argument, why are the rules even this way? You know what I mean? The guy's either guilty or not. Get on with your day, right?
I just feel like it's like a lose situation right now for everyone involved, with having him show up and having him be just, like they're essentially just
a giant
treating
distraction.
Him exactly, like he's not even there. So I just think it's strange. I think it's a strange situation. And I guess maybe that's why, right? Because it's a lack of precedence on what you do with a player.
That's exactly it.
Especially a player of his caliber.
Yeah, well, that's why it's a big deal, right? Like, because think about it, if he wasn't the starting quarterback, you'd just release him.
Yeah.
There wouldn't even be
especially with all the guaranteed money and how much he's getting paid.
$60 million on the line.
It's big.
Yeah, I agree, Mickey. I don't think he's off. I think he's in trouble. I think this is a really bad situation for him, and I think his career's in jeopardy.
And the other thing I'd say is I feel like the team is the most telling part of this, because I can't see who, like, it means the most to the team out of anybody involved in all of this stuff, as far as like the football side is concerned, because the other side, the other side's the other side. I care about the football side. And you have to think that the Texans are doing as much as they can to gather as much information about what happened and what all that stuff that's going on, and they have to be making the decisions that's best for them. So the fact that he's there and they're not letting him play, like, to me, that's not a positive EV play, let's say, when it comes to the playing side of things.
Ben DiNucci had a very regrettable game against the Eagles. I think we bet on him that game, and it was just like an embarrassment. So I'm surprised he's still playing. I thought, I don't know. I thought that'd be too much of a mental gut check, and I'm surprised he's still getting another chance here.
I guess the 7th round pick, there's not like a ton of cap implications, but like you might as well just keep a guy like that on your roster, like.
Well, a guy that has like zero chance almost of doing anything, I don't know. I don't think you do. The lights were too big for him. Like it was like a shockingly, not necessarily bad, but like embarrassing almost.
So you think, like, I know what you mean. This happens to a lot of athletes. Like, you think a sample size of whatever it was, like 40, 50 plays is enough to.
For a 7th round pick with limited physical upside, it can be, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's not even, here's a good example. Like, Nathan Peterman catches a lot of flack, but Nathan Peterman was a good practice player, and like a lot of the stuff that happened to him was just kind of unlucky, right? Whereas this guy, none of the execution on that game was any good. Zap says he remembers it, and so do I. I remember the procedural stuff wasn't even in place. That to me is just unforgivable, right? So
I was looking up, like I did a bunch of work today on lines, and I was just laughing at the game where, was it Denver had to play a wide receiver, a practice squad, Hamler or something like that? No, it wasn't. Was it Hamler? Or I think it was someone else.
KJ Hamler definitely wasn't him. Oh, this might be
return here.
Yeah, no, and I think we disagreed on that one too. I thought it was going to be a total disaster, and it was.
And you were right, and I thought that they were going to manage the game properly, because that game, I think it opened as 6-point underdogs, and then when the quarterback news came out, they ended up being 17-point underdogs, and I just thought that was too many points. But
I thought it was not enough. I was on the other way on that one. That was one of the few ones we disagreed.
And they ended up losing that game 31-3, so it was a 28-point.
I think so, but they weren't covering till the end either. But anyways, I still feel like in those spots, right? It's so bizarre how that worked out. That was one of the weirdest. You'll never see that again. And then I say that, of course you will. Over a long enough time period, you'll see everything.
Yeah, it's just unlikely. Like, it's very unlikely that a team is just not going to have any quarterbacks to play. or not be able to like bring a guy in off the streets to just play that game. But I don't. I just don't get how that's your scenario and you're still running passing plays. Like, I get that if you have like a trick play here or there, but like you go wildcat and you play, but it just
you don't
shows
have a choice.
Well, the thing that it really tells me is coaching, and that team is just they're behind in the competition as far as what other teams are having to implement to win games and strategy wise. So
and here's a good example. Like Miami played a whole season of wildcat forward type play, and they won 11-5, made the playoffs. So it's like doable, right? From the late great Tony Soprano. Tony Sperano. It flew. Tony Soprano flew. All right. Speaking of late great James Gandolfini. But yeah, the that's just a lack of preparation you can't believe, right? That's happened to you and I so many times where not that we do a better job coaching, of course not. But as far as game strategy, NFL isn't very good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, also, like something that's a big no-no is that I'm thinking of it as this is what they need to do to cover the spread, but they're probably not going to win that game regardless. So it's they're taking their shots, and they were being probably more risky than I would want to be if I was coaching that game. But
that's a good point. But you would know that we're not going to be able to get a pass playoff against an NFL defense. And yeah, you should have power run, and they should have just been riskier on defense where they're good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just send the house. There was a couple games, Charger games. This is when they were in San Diego. What was it? 7-8 years ago? It might have been 10 years ago, and I was really impressed. They were... Oh, no. To give a more recent example, the Panthers against the Chiefs last year. You remember that game?
You're going to have to refresh my memory.
The Panthers went for it multiple times on fourth down. They were aggressive on defense. They went for big chunk plays. I think they were up 3 at half. Instead of trying to lose gracefully, they risked it all, and it came close, and that's good enough, right?
Yeah. Kalen
Teddy
Ballage.
covered. Mickey Hill. There you go. Kalen Ballage, former Arizona State.
Well,
there's a guy who can play the Wildcat, Kalen Ballage. And yes, Mickey, what is it? The Many Saints of Newark, New Jersey. I think that's what the new Sopranos movie's called. I wasn't as big a fan as the TV show as other people, but I mean, it's still entertaining. I don't know. A lot of the guys, like the older guys, remind me of family members, so I always have some sort of commiseration, like with those types of characters. Like I probably have an Uncle Paulie Walnuts. I do. I'm not gonna say his name, but I have a guy exactly like that. So I do feel a closeness to it. Ooh.
Oh my goodness. These extra points are exciting for all the wrong reasons.
All the kicking plays.
Yeah.
Because that's good for the under there, Big Rye.
Yeah, it's what's that? That's been 10 points left on the board.
Yeah.
So you would feel a lot different if it was 19 points scored right now instead of the 9 that there is.
Everyone likes to sweat. I like that they have Bryan Cranston doing these Ford F-150 commercials. He has a good voice.
He's
not as good as Sam Elliott, but good.
He's put together quite the career.
Yeah, Bryan Cranston. Yeah, I mean, he didn't hit big till he was old too. I mean, he was Dr. Tim Watley on Seinfeld. Like that's the first time I remember seeing him on TV.
Yeah, and like showing our age. Like I knew him as the dad in Malcolm in the Middle.
Malcolm in the Middle, yeah.
Like I remember when Breaking Bad like first came into light for me, and I was just going like, oh, that's just the dad from Malcolm in the Middle. Like who wants to watch that? And like now the guy is, a mega star.
It's weird to say that though. He's a mega star. You know what I mean? Because he could be your neighbor.
Yeah, he's just so good. Like he's excellent. That I think he's excellent in Breaking Bad. So
there's other guys like that I like though as actors. There's who is it? Richard Jenkins.
Obviously, Paul Giamatti.
I don't even like Paul Giamatti.
I just hope that Chase Daniels goes into acting once he's done playing.
Yeah, that's a good point, Mickey.
The best actors are though, like the ones that hold out for those special roles.
But we're talking about like incidental, like character actors that incidentally become stars, like because a lot of people just want to be character actors, right? And they're kind of big, like a Bryan Cranston, like William H. Macy's pretty famous guy for a guy who's, the fifth one. The fifth guy on the casting sheet. Is Spotlight about that Boston Catholic priest thing? I never actually watched it. I'll add it to my list because I have an IMDb list like everyone else. I like a good return here. Richard Jenkins, the doctor on the phone that never shown on screen. That's very cool. I like him, and there's so many movies I like Richard Jenkins in. He plays like the mob messenger in Killing Them Softly, and I always like that. That seemed very accurate to me. Not that I know a lot of people in the mafia, but like that movie Killing Them Softly, it seemed very accurate, like the type of problems that they had, and nice to see John Lynch like be successful as a GM.
I was just gonna say, like, that guy has had a spectacular career as far as playing and as a GM.
As a GM so far, right? Like, of course things could change, but I mean, it's been good. Like, it started with the trade. Obviously Solomon Thomas didn't work out, and I was the guy I was highest on in that draft. Yeah. So we can that's a fat guy whiff, But that's the whole thing, right? Like, I watched that was one of the drafts where he took seriously. I watched every one of his snaps, and I was just convinced. But I'm not there for interviews. We have such limited information, like with the eye test. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like,
and even
YouTube
then,
highlights. That's pretty much
right. And I went deeper that with him too, and it's still. But that's not like, what does that mean? Me understanding or me seeing a guy perform well, right? In that vacuum, right? So it's and even then, there's no guarantees to this. Like, even if the guy's personality is great, doesn't mean it's going to turn out right. Like, there's plenty of opportunities of busts like that. But the ones I always find interesting are the obvious ones. Like Justin Blackmon's my favorite example because I found him to be one of the better receivers I'd watched, especially in his rookie season. But the guy was a drunk, and somehow the only team that didn't know was Jacksonville. Oh, nice interception.
Good tackle too.
Nice tackle.
Well, I was thinking about it when Chubb signed his extension, is that when the Browns, who are our favorite team at the time, drafted Chubb, who was my favorite running back in that draft, I audibly said yes because I was so surprised and so happy. But I never predicted that he was going to be the best running back and, maybe considered one of the best in football. I thought he was going to be a really good player, but he's been spectacular to start his career as far as production is concerned.
I got to give you credit though. As far as running backs go, you've been pretty accurate. You said David Johnson was going to be one of the best running backs in the league when he was a 5th-round pick. He was before he even played any snaps.
Well, he just had.
You recall that?
Well, to be honest, I thought he was just going to be. I thought he was going to be the best receiving back, and then he turned into an all-around back. But he was like on par with Le'Veon Bell when it came to receiving, and then obviously his injury hit, and he hasn't been the same player since.
Holy Mickey! So they used analytics to figure out. I guess we'll call it improprieties within the priesthood. That's kind of neat. I like how that's the data science is what ties me in, not the tragedy. So
yeah.
Yikes.
Well, it just shows like with a large enough sample, you can be eerily accurate with
anything.
Predictions. Yeah,
anything. I have lots of books on that too. But there's one thing I find very interesting, and it's prevalent, probably more so in sports than anything. It's they talk about it in Talib's Skin in the Game, and there's another one called I think it's Richard Tatler, Super Forecasters, about how the guys that make these big forecasters, whether it's politics, economics, or sports, for instance, like a Skip Bayless, what have you, is they make these outrageous claims for ratings, and they have no skin in the game because there's no consequences if they're wrong, right? So it's very interesting that people still follow. Like one of the guys I actually listen to, but it's for the weirdest reason, is Colin Cowherd sometimes. Because like my friends that are into betting on the NFL, but by betting they bet small unit sizing, and it's not even the small units.
You're talking about casual bettors.
They're casual bettors.
Common,
so I like
common casual bettors.
Yes, I like to try and process the information they're getting to see where I can, if there's a hole for me to poke in. And Colin Cowherd having a hot take, I have felt, it'd be very hard to quantify, but I would say, and it was always something I always wanted to do, but I would say it has a negative effect a lot of the time on those types of people is when he makes a bombastic type suggestion or prognostication, and that all that type of behavior with these guys. You know what I mean? It does put meat on the bone, you know? I can't believe Joe Hayden's still playing. I went on a rant and I closed it with that.
I know, like, it's just an admin thing on our lads, but it says that he came into the league in 2017, which I know is not.
That's right. 100% untrue. He's from drafted Florida, 1st-round pick, 2009. Let me see if my memory's right.
2010.
Oh!
Oh!
Cleveland. I thought it was 09. I was close, all right? 1 year.
That is surprising, like, for a corner to play, what is this, his 12th season or 11th season?
So Mickey had a follow-up to my rant, which I really appreciate. I think I read Cowherd was like 46% ATS last year. That's actually like a good sign for my theory, because you should hit 49 or 50. Like that's the natural order of things. So that's one deviation below average, which I mean, in the sample of an NFL season, that's not long enough to make a stern conclusion, but it does back up my theory with some, sort of data. Like I said, it'd be very hard to quantify. And yeah, like 46% ATS, if his followers are following him, then you know what I mean? I want to be on the other side. 54 is fine. 54 is fine. No flag? Good. I don't want to start this season off like that.
Yeah, I've only seen it looks one PI that I can remember so far in this game on
Same
that
here.
outside shoulder throw. That's the second time they've attacked right down that sideline. And Chase Claypool was standing on the sideline, so I'm guessing he's okay. I don't have the audio on, so I'm not getting reports back.
They panned to him next to Joe Hayden. It looks like 43 was lined up offside.
Good tackle.
This is better tackling than I can remember in a preseason game.
Yeah, that's true.
I always feel bad. Guys who have numbers in the 40s usually don't make the team.
Yeah. Well, let's see where Wright is coming in at.
What are the chances? Live, we got to do it real quick. What are the actual chances of this guy making a field goal?
48 yards. I'd say 55%.
I'm going 36%. I think it's that bad. I guess you win.
Gets it. Oh, whatever.
As if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Nahshon Wright is a third-round pick from this year at corner, so it makes sense that he's getting played so much. It's interesting to see in a team I don't know if they're attacking him on purpose or that's just where reads are coming from, or who knows what it is, but this is where it gets really, really interesting, is as if the Cowboys want to get him snaps and actual plays, like, why not just not leave a safety behind him and then he's responsible for covering, that whole side of the field. Like, that's how you could find out what you have from a player, by doing things like that, it's very interesting to think of, like, what is the strategy and what are you trying to get from the different defenses you're playing and how you have things set up.
Yeah.
And that's why these preseason games are just, like, incredibly difficult to handicap.
Christmas, I need a back scratcher. Holy. What's the live OU right now?
Let's take a look. Currently no markets available, but I think there is. It's just not loading correctly. They don't have an OU, but the Steelers are 5.5-point favorites live.
Why don't they get that punter? I bet you that guy could blow it right through the uprights.
Yeah, I get specialization is specialization. I'm just confused that more kickers can't do both. But maybe it's just like you have to.
I don't know why you just don't carry an extra roster spot. You could cut down on special teams if you had a high probability of that. You were born and raised in Newark, Jamie? That's very interesting. You've seen a thing or two. You work in waste management? Calvin Johnson looks like a regular dude for once.
I didn't know who that was. I'm like going through my brain, racking it, trying to figure out who that was. He looks like if I saw him on the streets, I wouldn't know that's Calvin Johnson.
Well, he's the
huge.
height might help
like,
a little
I
bit.
get that part. You know what?
There's a good question from Mickey.
I'm happy for Calvin Johnson. Like he went out early, but like look at like this dude looks happy. Like you know what I mean? Like he looks happy with his life. Like
he was a great player. He was
you
a
think
really
he's going to
great
be a
player.
first ballot Hall of Famer?
He is. That's what this is.
He's been out of the league that long? Because what is it, a 5-year wait to get in?
Yeah, I thought that's what this was. Or maybe he's just up to be an inductee. I don't know. I still don't know. Yeah, I thought he was a first ballot Hall of Famer. Patrick Willis, that's maybe my favorite player. I'm not even joking.
That's super cool.
That is unbelievable.
I still think, like, I remember we were looking at his contracts.
He got ripped
and he
off
was
so bad.
He was so underpaid.
He got ripped off so bad. He's the best player at his position for 5 or 6 years. He's a Hall of Famer to us. It was unbelievable. And God, could that guy hit, too. And he was smart. Oh.
One of the key players on a really, really good San Francisco team.
Yeah, him and Navarro Bowman, that defense was really good. That was like, that defense rivaled Seattle's. I actually like their defense more than Seattle's because they were better in the front seven, which to me is more important.
Almost broke that.
Almost. Made you sweat, eh?
Oh. Yeah. Well, I was just thinking, like, as DiNucci was dropping back, like, it was kind of just ringing in my ear how you've been saying, like, it just looks like he just isn't ready for this. And then, like Parker's wide open there, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
But
I like how Parker didn't switch hands on that one because that was like an obvious one. I like watching the tier 2 running backs fight. Do you know what I mean? Because these guys are really working hard to try and get in there.
yeah. I got to remind myself that Mike McCarthy is the coach of the Cowboys, and
oh, really?
I think that's I don't think that's a good thing. Like, I feel like the NFL has just passed him by. Like, I didn't like what I saw strategy-wise from him last season.
No, their defense, man. Mike Nolan was brutal. Their defense is horrible.
And it's crazy because Prescott's been unreal. Like,
been
Prescott
pretty good.
has been, like, better than expected.
Well, your argument though is that like the adjustments were so poor when Prescott got hurt that it doesn't give you, because how hard is it to be the coach of Aaron Rodgers on offense, right? You know what I mean?
Not like he carries the team.
Yeah. You have to get this ball off, man.
They're not. So, are they just going to take the penalty? Or are they going to use the timeout? It
Those
feels
helmets
like
look new.
It feels like there's a lot of leniency with last second timeouts for teams.
Yes. We just press select.
How old do you think Clint Eastwood was where you thought you could take him in a fight?
I don't know. When I was 16, I don't think he would have had a good chance.
So at 15, he could kick your ass, and at 16, you
Yeah,
could kick his ass?
I would say so.
That's when the odds flipped?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was pretty tough at 16, 17. I trained. I went to a fighting gym.
Yeah. When do you think that time's going to hit for me?
Well, I think there's one thing. I was 6'5" at 16. You were not even 5'6", so that thing kind of passed you by.
Well, that's what I'm saying is I don't even know if I could do it now. Like, how much
Clint?
older? How much older?
He's got to
does
be on
Clint-
his deathbed.
Yeah. And even then, I'd have a tough time pinning him for the 3 count.
Yeah, I don't know if you could. I mean, there are many ladies that you see walking out and about that are a serious threat to your livelihood. I remember the flip with my dad. So I was terrified of him for years. And then I think I was 13 when that switched over. I was too big. You know what, Mickey? Despite being a huge Tarantino fan, I somehow haven't seen it yet. I don't know how. I don't know why. And I just keep putting it off, and I mean to watch it.
And I haven't seen it as well. The live OU to update is 21.5.
Still looking good. I've actually watched Pulp Fiction twice since Once Upon a Time in Hollywood's been out, which is ridiculous. So I like those old NFL videos with the music.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was gonna say Steve Sable he's unreal. Like he's unreal.
Was, yeah.
Did he pass away?
Yeah.
No, it's too bad.
I think his dad did it too.
Buy Curious George, wouldn't mind some nuggets. That's a nice little nugget to throw in there.
Look at these cameras.
I wonder if you can get like box sets of like NFL Network produced stuff.
I'm sure you
or
could.
NFL
That'd
films.
be really good though. It's like, I don't know, there's a romanticism about the old stuff. That's why I collect Jim Brown memorabilia. I'm very much entrenched in it. I haven't bought anything in a long time, but I don't know. I'm probably going to sell a chunk though when he dies. He's what? He's got to be 90 now? 88, 89? I'm
Jim
surprised
Brown is?
someone... Yes.
Really? I didn't realize he was that old.
Oh, he's 85. I thought he was older.
He's still he's getting up there.
Oh! Why don't they do the catch and chuck backwards?
He tried, but it was just no one's getting that one.
There's some. I'll just let the verbal jousting in the chat department continue unfettered.
There's Dylan. There's Dylan Toddfield. There's By Curious George. It's probably the most popular out of all of them. Roland Walton.
Yes. Grin and Barrett. Yeah. I'm sure he has plenty of time in the men's room, Jamie. What day is it today? Thursday?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Roland. I think Roland is my favorite too.
Oh, obviously.
I'm actually quite interested in this Field of Dreams. Like, are they actually going to play like in a cornfield somewhere? An MLB game? Is that what this is all about? Because I keep seeing this commercial.
Yes, they are.
Thursday, 3 p.m. Pacific. Did it say Thursday? I already forgot what day this is happening.
Yes. Oh, Dylan confirming. Lives with mommy and daddy. It's literally the field from the movie. That's pretty cool. Aaron Donald looks like a bodybuilder. Holy.
So this game's on August 12th, so it's next Thursday.
I wonder why they do it in Canton. I'm sure I've heard it, but I don't know.
Well, that's where the Hall of Fame is, so they just play the game with the Hall of Fame and do a whole...
Yeah, but I'm curious at the origins of all that. Because they had a team, the Canton Bulldogs. That was in like the 30s, I think.
On September
yeah, the Bulldogs
7th,
were the first professional team. That makes sense.
On September 17th, 1920, a group of men gathered in downtown Canton, Ohio at the Hub Mobile showroom of Ralph Hay, owner of the hometown Bulldogs. The result of that historic meeting was the birth of the National Football League, just one of the reasons why the Pro Football Hall of Fame is in Canton. So that's where the NFL was invented. Oh, fumble.
Ooh.
And
recovery.
Pittsburgh fortunate.
I don't even know if this is a fumble in today's rules.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Oh, big time. It's in real time, you're like, I don't know anymore, you know?
Dylan dropping the fire in chat, as always.
Yeah, he's getting stale, though. He's got the same insults, same slurs.
Dylan, what do you think the percentage of people who think that the Saints are not going to make the playoffs? Like, I'm not saying what you think. What do you think? If you took a vote of 100 dudes, you think 10% is to make the playoffs or 10% is to miss the playoffs? So 90% chance to make the playoffs, according to DTF. Ooh. Let's. I'm gonna check Pinnacle to see if they actually have odds on making the playoffs. Sometimes they do.
I already looked.
And
Slight Dogs, not Pinnacle, but the other websites. They're even money to bet them to make the playoffs, but minus 130 for them not to.
so they're plus 385 to win the division, which is like just over 25%.
Yeah.
So then you take out the juice, and they're probably like 22%, 23%.
There's more wild card teams now, though.
Yeah,
so it's
so
easier.
The wild card is where it comes into play. So teams, in theory, that they're going to be fighting with, we're missing one of the NFC East at the moment. I'm not sure why the NFC East is the team that's missing. Let's see what the Saints... Oh, that's... I don't think we have Super Bowl odds. No, we don't. So... Packers and Vikings, Buccaneers, Rams, 49ers, Seahawks. And what's 7 teams get to make the playoffs from each side? So pretty much 2 teams from each division make it in. So it's like you said, it's like almost a coin flip. It's like what, minus 130?
Minus 130 for no.
Yeah.
Even money for yes.
So they're like 40.
You can't take what he says seriously, Dylan. He has a very close to market accurate prediction. I think you've made 1-2 proclamations, Dylan, where people can't take you seriously necessarily. Best roster in the NFL? Oh, come on. Come on now, Dylan.
And it's tough to throw the Skins in there. Skins
yeah, we love the Skins. We love the Skins,
defense,
but I can't.
Roster.
Not roster. Best defensive line? Yes, I would wholeheartedly agree. First 6 picks were all defense on Cowboys. I don't mind that.
They need it.
Yeah, they're bad. Dude, I hope this punter makes the team.
I think it's pretty safe. They spent a draft pick on him. It's not usual that a guy they spend a draft pick on doesn't make the team as far as special teams players go.
Oh, I like the Skins, the football team. I think they're great. It's me and Big Rye's favorite. Like
Terry
lately,
McLaurin's my favorite receiver.
Yeah. But I mean, they're the best roster, though. It's just not true. Best roster in the league, I would say, is overall, like Cleveland and Kansas City, and the Colts have some but Colts losing a quarterback is tough.
Yeah.
Seattle best wide receiver combo. I mean, maybe. There's lots of guys. Like Cowboys have pretty good receivers. Like Gallup, Lamb, and what's his face? I can't even. Drafted by the Raiders and Amari Cooper. San Francisco's got a really strong roster, yeah. And the Rams do too. Rams aren't a weak team either. There's lots of they're at the end. I actually think the Browns probably have the best all-around roster, and I can't believe I'm saying that. I can't really find a weakness aside from maybe linebacker. They're strong everywhere else.
Well, and that's also like years and years of draft capital and cap space.
Yes,
like it's coming
yes.
to fruition.
Yes, it doesn't even mean they're gonna win, right? Because that's the thing about having a quarterback like Mahomes is you can make up for, like, if he has a good performance, there's nothing anybody can do about it.
I had to double check to make sure that wasn't Justin Gilbert making that play, but it's not. It's Mark Gilbert.
Oh, Justin Gilbert's long gone, bro.
No, that's why I was like, that if that's Justin Gilbert, then I would be very surprised.
That's a good run from 18. I think who another really good example of a strong roster is.
Well, to me, Baltimore comes to mind, but Baltimore has been losing players every year because
They
of
do.
how well they've drafted.
Yeah, they can't sign their own free agents, right? The thing is, though, is every year they bring in a new crop of guys, and somehow they're good.
Pittsburgh as well. Green Bay's got a pretty good roster.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, they do have a pretty good roster.
I maybe the roster is not like number one,
No,
but they've been very
good.
strong from top to
Yes,
bottom as
okay,
an organization.
that's fair.
The Saints are up there.
No,
they've taken a step back on offense, but their defense has.
They've lost
some
guys too.
talented
Who
players.
are we talking about? Bucks are right up there too.
Rams.
Bucks aren't a weak team anywhere. Yeah,
The
I
Rams
think
as
it's
well.
Cleveland at the top, and I'm gonna slide the Bucks up there a little bit too. Now that I think about it, they don't really have any holes.
4th and 1 from the Cowboys. Play action.
What's he mad about not getting an interception? It's better if you don't. I have a question here. Why play action on 4th and 1? I can't stand that.
I think it's fine. It gives you multiple options, right? Because the quarterback can keep it, and then he's got a couple different options, and he has time to make those decisions too. Usually, like
Not always.
Not always, but usually. It's very rare. Like, it's a special defensive play if a guy like bites down on the quarterback. I know that's what they're supposed to do, and like you can't do that shit in Madden because one of us has just user controlled it, and they're gonna blow up that play, but. Dylan's already got the top 10 out here. Saints, Ravens, Chiefs, Seattle, Packers, Skins, Bucks, Colts, Browns, Cardinals.
All right. Everyone has a list.
I'm not sure why you think Fat Guy hates the Skins. He's been like backing them up nonstop for over a season now.
Yes.
But as far as last year, I really liked Washington. I really liked Carolina. I thought that they both did excellent jobs with the rosters.
What they had to work with, yeah.
Yeah.
Skins can make the playoffs, though. Like, that's not that unreasonable,
The Skins
right?
did make the playoffs last year.
Yes, I know. I'm talking about this year.
They did make the play. Like,
yes.
Like, it was an upset. Like, they were not favorites to make the playoffs last year.
No, they were not.
That is 100% for sure.
They were the best team in that division, though. I'm gonna say. There's something I think the Giants. I don't know. I don't really like the news and the attitude coming out of them lately, but. Skins gave the Bucks their toughest game in the playoffs. They did, actually. That's a great point.
And defensively, they're set up to beat Brady. Like, that was the team that's built
they
to
are.
do it out of any of the teams.
Yes, they are. And they did that with a third-string quarterback, too.
Yeah. CeeDee Lamb has great teeth.
Oh, really, Jamie? I remember that scene specifically. That's kind of cool.
What's he referring to? Because I'm not understanding.
There's it's a scene in the Sopranos where one of the mafia guys assaults these two gardeners, but it's a pretty well known one, so it's interesting that he had a tie-in.
That's a pretty cool experience, Jamie.
Yeah. Just shows you how guerrilla the filming is. Like, hey, do you have a bat? You know what I mean? Like, they're just asking people, like...
Yeah.
And this is like a big-time show, right?
It reminds me of in Windy City Heat when they have the two bats.
Red bat, blue bat.
What's going on, Jackson?
Oh, Jackson Littlewood. Hello, sir. Hello, football fans. Big Rye is probably going to cash the under, Jackson, to give you some vicarious action.
Well, the result is whatever. What was interesting was how it
tell
came
the
to
story.
be because Jackson, the OU for this game was 32. It was originally 33, bet down to 32, and it closed at 32 minus 126 on the under. And then the second the game went live, the live odds was 32.5, and the under was minus 111. So I have no clue how their algorithm came to that point, but I'll take it. Yeah, Mr. 57 can be Jackson's new name.
I feel like there's a movie like that, like Mr. 3000 or something. It might have been a Bernie Mac movie. I think it's about home runs or something. Oh, Josh Dobbs is in. There you go. Zaps is rooting. Yeah, they are, Jackson, because think about it, like tier 2 defenses are a lot worse than tier 2 offenses, right? So it's natural for them to be really low, but like this is pretty low, right? And it was under 32 was minus 126. Like it's pretty big. Like that's worth. It'd be hard to tell you what point each point is worth in the preseason, but that's probably worth 2 points. So the OU is probably what, like the true one at closing was probably 30 even, right? So. And then of course the result to follow up. So, oh, that was cool. It didn't work out, but that was cool at least. That's a good nickname, Mr. 57. I like that.
Damn,
that's
how
he
you
hit
give
his head
yourself a
pretty hard.
concussion. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Easy. It seemed like a lot of that work was done pre-snap on where that ball was going to go, because the second he got it, there was no hesitation. That ball came out on time.
He has been around, right? Like that's my argument about like the guys that get procedure, you can kind of work on mechanics. I don't know, like if you're not good procedurally in the NFL, it's never going to work. That's my argument.
Yeah.
Like if you don't get it, you don't get like you're just going to be bad. Like there's just no other way. We're at 19, Big Rye.
No. This is tough. The OU now
Creeping
is
up.
24.5.
Ooh, you were on top for so long, and now
Now, I'm really sweating the small stuff, as they would say.
okay. Oh, so you watched him in college, Jackson? Yeah, that must have been some time ago. How long? 6-7 years?
I'm gonna just quickly grab a drink.
Real quick, who can afford this Sleep Number bed? Oh, it's only $1,100. I thought it was gonna be like 4,000. The way, like it switches up and down and is temperature controlled. $1,100, I would pay that for a bed, but 4,000, nah. Josh Dobbs is a rocket scientist. Man, the things you learn. Oh, it ended in 2016, so 2017. What year are we? 2021? Oh, it's only 5 years ago. Oh, he has alopecia. Yeah, it was 2016. I just looked right now. So it's been about 5 years. So yeah, he's been around. 4th round pick. Who was the other guy that had alopecia? He played for the Detroit Pistons. I can't remember. There's an actual article. Josh Dobbs is an actual rocket scientist. Oh, with aerospace engineering. That's awesome.
That's a pretty impressive, like back-to-back QBs there to go from Nathan Peterman to Joshua Dobbs.
I mean, it sounds like, a lot of people would lampoon you for saying that, but like guys that at least got had NFL attention, yeah.
Like these are legit NFL prospects, and they.
It is the University of Tennessee, though, Big Rye. Peyton Manning went there, right? Like, I mean. Oh, no. Troy Aikman was trying not to laugh about this rule change.
What's the rule change?
Outside of the tight end box, you cannot block below the waist. Because they want to reduce knee injuries. I don't know what you can do. Man, defense should get paid like a certain luxury tax for having to adjust. I can't believe how hard they make NFL defense over and over and over and over and over every year. Man, bubblies are really taking over. Chop box locks are already illegal. Yeah.
That's what I don't get. Like, where can you make a block below the waist? So between the tackles upfield is the only place you can do it? Like,
yes, I guess so.
Like, if a guy's running a reverse, the tight end can take, like, 5 yards step forward and then come back and just, like, crack a guy at the knees and it's fine.
Big Rye, I don't have the book in front of me, and I don't know what this guy meant. So we're going to have to see. That spin move from 33 was nice.
I also like how they had to, like, pull up old NFL game tape to find the one example of that play happening. Like how has that become a rule change?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I can't remember if chop blocks aren't allowed or you're just not allowed to chop block a player that's already engaged.
Oh, engaged. Yeah, you can't do that.
The OU's now 19.5. So it's minus 144 for anybody to score one more point in this game.
It's not that high.
This is like, I feel like you reach like the 8-minute mark in the fourth quarter of these games and teams pretty much just like burn clock to get out of there. They've kind of done what they need to do.
Jackson has an obvious question that we didn't really touch on. And I think I'll start it. He wants to know, how do we feel about these two teams? You're more opinionated about the Cowboys. I'm more opinionated about the Steelers, I feel, at least. And I have a take on the Steelers. I don't like how they do this thing, because the Steelers went 11-0, and then they had more or less a disastrous season from the ladder, from the 12th game onwards.
Yeah.
What I feel, though, is it's just funny math. It's just probability. I don't think anything changed. I think things worked for them unusually well in the first half, or the first 11 games, and they were pretty unlucky in a lot of the other games. You know, like for instance, their game against the Browns, you know, they very well could have lost to the Browns. They could have been dogs in that game in actual probability, but in reality, like what happened on the field was like a lot of funny coincidences. And I feel like that's what happens in football. I mean, there's probabilities acting themselves out. So I feel like they really were like a 9-7, 10-6 team. It just came out a funny way. And I find them to be underrated because people like to use the recency bias of their, you know, they do, oh, you lost to Cleveland, bro. That's one weird game. It doesn't mean anything. The only things that actually make sense to badger about are an aging defense and an aging quarterback, right? Like, those are the only negatives I can think of. From a coaching perspective, I find Tomlin to be a good motivator of men, which goes a long way for me in terms of coaching, and he usually surrounds decent X's and O's guys. So I actually think I'm more bullish on the Steelers than probably the average fair weather non-Steelers football fan is. Big Rye, what do you got about the Cowboys?
Well, the Cowboys are an enigma to me because I love Prescott. I think Prescott is really, really good, and I think he gives you a really good chance to win pretty much any game. But on the flip side, like, I don't like McCarthy. I don't like how he looked last year. Like, I think they were off the top of my head, I think they were one of the worst teams against the spread, and that pretty much tells you what you need to know about a coach, because that just means that, like, game to game, he underperformed the most consistently out of any
performance versus
else.
Expectation is what you're saying.
Yeah. So I'm kind of torn because I have pretty high expectations for Prescott if he's healthy and back playing, and they've invested a lot into their defense, but I just don't know how far you're going to get with McCarthy as a head coach. Like, I feel like he doesn't give you the best chance to win every single time you step on the field. So it's tough. Like, I think the Cowboys are kind of like spot on average, like right around the middle, like maybe slightly above. Like, I just don't know how much weight to give McCarthy. I don't know how much weight to give Prescott. And of course, like, a Prescott injury, and it's going to be another disastrous season, I feel like, for Dallas. But I already do, like, some of the brief moments we've had on the defensive side have been good, but, like, moments are not what defense is about. It's about playing consistently with every single snap, showing up and getting the job done, which the Cowboys have not been able to do despite the talent they've had for years.
The Cowboys over under is seemingly about 9.5, whereas the Steelers is The Steelers is 8.5 with favored on the under, which I mean
what a disastrous play.
I didn't see this. What happened?
Just the receiver let the ball bounce like 5 yards. The returner let the ball bounce like 5 yards in front of him, and it just bounced into him, and that was it. And then just a terrible play.
Oh man. Okay, I see it now. And the Steelers are 8.5, but the Steelers do have a much harder division. But I'm still that one's probably going to stick out to me to take an over, and the over is plus money at some places too. So, I mean that makes it even more enticing. So, like I don't see the Steelers going 9-7 9-8 isn't that unreasonable to me. So I'd have to simulate their season with Big Rye, but at a glance, this is looking like one of the few overplays I actually like.
I agree, Jackson, about returners making plays like that. Like, you have to have a lot of promise to make plays like that and still make the roster. And then that was also not a good play by Dobbs there. He got a little too excited. The thing that I'm going to say is, in my head, I think the Steelers are like a 10-win team, but their schedule is going to be harder than most. Like, they're going to have to play Cleveland, Baltimore.
Twice. Even the Bengals, it's not a cakewalk.
Exactly. So that's the only part where I'm like that could be 2-4, 1-5, but then they could clean house the rest of the way. Like, I don't know exactly what their schedule is. Like, I don't have it in front of me. I haven't done any of the real hard work, but like the thing with Steelers and with Tomlin and with Roethlisberger is like they're going to be competitive. Like, they just are. They're going to have games like this game here. Like, I know it's preseason, it doesn't matter, but like these are the kind of games the Steelers they have the experience and they know how to win.
It must be really bad to the schedule for it to be that low, but
it's just as that, like, if you have to play Baltimore and Cleveland 4 times, that is way hard. Like, there's no other team that has a schedule that hard already. No. Already with knowing those things.
Who knew playing playing Cleveland, you know what I mean, would be a tough one.
It is though. Like, those rosters, and like the Steelers are good. Like, the Steelers do not have a bad roster. That's just those are tough games to play. And the thing too is that like they might get up and play really well in one of those games, but like you're gonna get the shit beat out of you. And if you lose that close game, like there's that next game that you have to play after that. And
so
you have to bring that over, right? They're gonna have primetime games. They're gonna have Monday night games where they're gonna have to play early on Sunday. Like, you're losing out of days and stuff. Like, it's just things like that you get being a team like this that can really, really change it fast, despite how good
this isn't a bad start. Bills, at home to the Raiders, at home to the Bengals, at Green Bay, at home to the Broncos, at home to Seattle. Those are winnable, a lot of those. Cleveland, at home to Chicago, at home to Detroit.
Yeah,
that's not bad.
There's a couple slam dunks there. There's a couple really tough games. Like, how many did you list there? Like 9 or 10? Like,
there's 10.
I could see them going 6-4, but like they still have to finish off by playing all those other teams.
Okay, and then at LA Chargers, at Bengals, at home to the Ravens, at Vikings, at home to the Titans, at the Chiefs, at home to the Browns, at the Ravens. That's a tough.
That schedule is tough.
Look at the last 4 games.
They don't get like Jacksonville. They're not getting Houston.
They're getting Detroit though, and they get Detroit and they get at home to Denver. That's not bad. And at home to Seattle and at home to Chicago aren't the end of the world.
It's not, but it's not.
At LAC isn't an end of the world either. The last 4 games, though, are a nightmare. At home to Tennessee, in Kansas City, at home to Cleveland, in Baltimore. That's a tough. Those are all 4 of those teams are top 6 teams. That's top 6, top 7 teams. That's going to be pretty tough.
Yeah, Jackson did a simulation. He has them at 9 wins. So it's and Mickey says it too. Like Dallas's division is a lot easier.
It is a lot easier.
Like when you said 9.5, I was kind of surprised, but now like I'm thinking about it completely with Pittsburgh, how tough it's going to be, and then on the flip side, like Dallas is, their schedule is going to be a joke compared to Pittsburgh's.
I don't know who I like in that. Well, obviously I'd say Washington, but like I think Philadelphia is probably a little bit underrated. I'm not sure how I feel about the Giants so far, and Dallas too. Like that's still.
I think Washington is the most consistent, but like the other 3 teams, like it's going to be this just like circle of mediocrity. Like that's what I feel like it is every single season.
Oh, I think he totally lost his legs, and that makes it even more dangerous for him, Mickey, because he's the amount of abuse that guy's taken. They can say what they want. He might have been the toughest guy I've seen him play in the NFL. Like he never said die, but I mean that only lasts for so long. That play style and attitude, right? So he's not he's very poor mobility, and that, I can't imagine that his body feels good, right? That's why they talk about him retiring it's a talking point every 3 months.
What the glimmer of hope for Big Ben is that last year, I know as far as their hot start, one of the things they highlighted was how quickly he got the ball out. And if he continues to play like that, like he gives himself a better chance at
longevity,
staying healthy and finishing a season, because that's what it comes down to. Like he needs to be healthy at the end of the year. Like it's one thing to get a hot start and that, like, but he needs to be healthy at the end of the year, because it's really those few playoff games where he needs to be there to make a difference for them.
I mean, if they do make the playoffs. But that was my argument about quarterbacks and procedural stuff is Ben Roethlisberger's success. Not that he's been super successful recently, but like he's still a winning quarterback in the NFL, and that has to do with procedural stuff. Like he understands how to make pre-snap reads, getting the ball out quickly. Guys that just aren't able to even have a chance at doing that, I don't have any confidence in them going forward. So, yeah, I'm more privy to the Eagles and the Giants, Jackson and Mickey. But I mean, we're talking about the worst division in football, probably. Maybe not. Yeah, it's got to be. Colts and Tennessee are decent. Colts I feel just bad for with all these injuries. Obviously, Jacksonville and Houston aren't good, but they're probably worse than anyone else in Cowboys, Eagles, Skins. I can't even think of the division. I'd
say maybe the AFC West is the second worst division, and even maybe the NFC North, but I don't know. Like it's every other division has pretty decent teams.
Well, that's the Jackson. The Eagles coaching it's Nick Sirianni now from the Colts. So they got rid of Peterson. So I'm curious what that could bring, right? Like I don't know. Maybe I'm just too optimistic on it, perhaps because it has the Frank Wright connection. So and their O-line was atrocious last year, but I felt more comfortable with Jalen Hurts of all things. I thought he had some really nice games and showed poise. I like poise. You know what I mean? Poise in defeat and poise in victory. I know that's not really a tangible term. It's just something they judge in a pageant. But I feel like that type of confidence is important at the quarterback position, which I feel the opposite of with Ben DiNucci over here.
So let me just, I hate rumors and I hate poking fires, but this one's interesting because unless you know something that I don't, because one of the NFC East teams does not have any future information on Pinnacle, and it's the only, every other division has it. And what I'm thinking is that there was rumors today that the Eagles were looking to add Deshaun Watson. So I'm wondering if that's changed these, like, the reason why it's taken off the board. But I don't know, maybe you guys know of something else that's gone on in one of those teams, but I find it very strange that there's no odds on the board for those 4 teams.
Yeah, that is strange. But I mean, Pinnacle's pretty conservative when it comes to that type of things. That was a great throw and catch. That's another argument, Jackson, we went over. I think Watson's in big trouble career-wise, but I mean, that's all speculation, right? What a catch.
There's just another thing before we sign off, because we're going to be signing off pretty quickly after this game. Oh, terrible drop there. I don't know if you can see this, fat guy, but let me bring this up. I was just like scrolling through Pinnacle and I found this and I was like, what the heck is going on? But you can bet. Here, let me just take that off too.
I think it's more now, Jackson. It's like a Bill Cosby list.
So you, for some reason at Pinnacle, you can bet if the consensus be that Earth is flat by 1/1/2025. Yes is 35 to 1 and no is 800 to 1. And
no, 1 to 800.
Yeah, minus 80,000.
Yeah, 1 to 800.
And the other thing I saw, it's not showing it now because you need to log in, but you can bet $100,000 to win $125.
Yeah.
For a bet that you wouldn't be able to cash from now until 2025.
I guess Pinnacle is getting in the banking game. That's really what that is.
Yeah. Isn't that insane?
It is insane. But then again, think of the flat earthers that are getting 35 to 1 and they think that's a good bet.
Yeah. And then the other thing too is first organization to put a human being on Mars first. Like, talk about locking up your money.
Yeah. Like, I don't even know how long that is.
It says January 1st, 2023, but that's a lot of money to put. Oh my goodness. He picked up the first down.
Danuch. So now they get the Sky one? Is that... Can you just kneel here? Like, it's a preseason game. You need a Sky one here?
Yeah. The other thing too, Jackson, is I was looking at Pinnacle, and you can, like, they have literally pretty much every Olympic event listed as far as I can tell.
I'm sure you could have cleaned up if you had a guy for every event and they shared information.
Oh, I bet. I bet too. Like, there's a lot of things you can bet on. Like, a lot of things. Look at this.
And Big Rye starting off the season 1-0.
Yeah, great. So the OU finished at 19. There was 10 points left on the board from kickers, so 29. That OU of 32, I think, was pretty damn accurate, but
I didn't know they had men's climbing.
Yeah. There's a bunch of different stuff. You can even bet, like, because I was looking for it, you can bet the Olympic, like, women Olympic final, because Canada's in it, and you can bet it. Canada plus 397 to win the gold medal. Or actually to win in, there's 94, like, you can bet everything. This is insane. I didn't think you'd be able to do that.
My dad got upset with me for making fun of speed walking.
Yeah.
And he's like, they go really fast. And I'm like, I bet they do. I'm like, it shouldn't be an Olympic event, which I don't think it is anymore, but it was for a time.
And there's...
I think this was... Go ahead.
Some of the odds that are offered in some of these Olympic events is just crazy.
High juice?
I wasn't looking so much at the juice, but I was just, like, surprised in general by...
Laurel Hubbard sure did, Mickey Hill. Although I don't know if you've looked at some of the Chinese ones. You could draw your own conclusions. I feel like I felt very emasculated watching them.
Like, you can bet the men's basketball as well. Like, men's Olympic basketball, USA minus 840 to win the gold medal. Minus 12.5 on the line, on the spread. And then let me see some of these Olympic lines if I can find something crazy. Like here, men's diving, this guy's minus 1039. I saw some like women. Oh, here's one. Men's wrestling, Kyle Frederick Snyder is minus 2116.
American?
Kyle Frederick Snyder.
And also to Nigeria in the preseason or the exhibition, Jackson. That probably hurt them negatively.
Yeah, he's a U.S. wrestler.
Yeah.
There's a lot of I'm surprised. I didn't realize that you could bet Olympics. I like just found this out. Like I think I saw a damn, like they even have futures so you could bet who's going to win. Athletics men's 4x100 relay Jamaica plus 110.
U.S. isn't in the 4x100, I don't think.
Yeah, it shows that they're not.
Yeah,
But
they didn't
then-
make it.
But then the 4x400 USA is minus 888. Some of this stuff's very interesting.
I think we should call it on that. It's been a pretty nice little jump back.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody stopping by and
Yeah, it
and
was really
joining us.
nice.
And hopefully we're gonna have this is gonna be kind of our kickstart to more content for the NFL.
All right, guys, we'll hit you up in the Discord. I'm gonna jump off here. It is Edgar and James, it absolutely is. So cheers, Big Rye. I'll chat to you tomorrow as well. Yeah, it's great to have you back. Great to be back.
I'll catch you all later.